God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon.
this before you cut me off? We
Yeah,
know
go ahead.
one thing.
Yes.
We know it
No,
might have done well because
I'm
it went
not-
on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another eclectic edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. Hashtag DMDMW. I am your host, Phil S. Mark.
Just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
And on this evening's show, AEW Forbidden Friends, baby. Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer News Hounds attended Forbidden Door, and they also got a private little media scrum situation with Tony Khan, which we're going to get into. Dave also tried to set up a meeting with Nielsen, which is hilarious. He keeps trying to pitch AEW to Paramount, or Paramount's relationship with AEW to the folks at home, I guess. I'm not too sure. Cryin Bryan Alvarez hates CM Punk and is crying about CM Punk again. These guys cope about WWE, and Dave Meltzer sees AEW doing WWE type shit, and he loves it. He thinks it is absolutely the best thing he's ever seen. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you hit heart or retweet or rate this podcast 5 stars. Just like Dave Meltzer would. And make sure you brought your flutes. You can super chat in if you want to interrupt the live show. You can become a member for 99 cents or become a Patreon patron. I don't know what it is, but patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. There's bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week exclusive to Patreon. So without further ado, get your flutes in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite show that's a segment sometimes, but is definitely its own show now, and it is called Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week.
Dave is so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
So last week we talked a lot about Dave Meltzer pitching AEW to Paramount essentially through his shit rag, and we have more of that. And if you guys want to see Niccolo Piccolo trolling Dave Meltzer and Tony Khan with a Ricky Dozan commemorative watch and a Antonio Inoki towel scarf, check out PWT live show Time Cop. That goes live every Wednesday and Saturday on YouTube, as you guys already know. But there's more of Dave trying to sell AEW to Ellison and Tone, claiming that he's really great friends with Ellison. And I've said it a billion times. Mick Foley's silence is complicit with Tone being so nice and close with Paramount, according to Dave Meltzer and Tone. So let's get into that and some other people's reactions overall here. And so Niccolo Piccolo grabbed some screenshots from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and his response is, bah, ha, 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 what the fuck? Because Dave is talking out of turn.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
He's talking about a bunch of shit that he doesn't understand when it comes to this television world, and you can love or hate Niccolo Piccolo, but he knows what he's talking about. He's a Hollywood agent. He posted an article. He posted a clip from an article, I think like today or yesterday, where he was in like 2007, dude. or something like that. Like 20 years ago, he was in the car with Lindsay Lohan when she got in that car accident. He was in the car with her. I don't know. Some tabloid was like, "Oh, an industry insider said a man named Niccolo Piccolo was in the car with her along with someone else, and they got that other person's name." Isn't that funny? Anyways, just an interesting anecdote. But he's definitely has a better grasp of this shit than Dave Meltzer. That's for sure. The way Dave Meltzer's been doing wrestling for 50 years and doesn't even understand it. Niccolo Piccolo's been doing Hollywood for 20 years and he definitely does understand it. But Dave Meltzer had this to say, between now and 2029, Netflix will grow or stay relatively the same while the cable stations will continue to slowly fall in viewership and reach. So he goes, Netflix will grow or stay relatively the same while the cable stations all die out. Oh, gee, is that fucking Nostradamus here? Between now and 29, Netflix will grow or stay relatively the same while the cable stations will continue to slowly fall in viewership and reach, even though WWE did take a very significant hit in viewers over 50 by going to Netflix. By doing to Netflix. Dave, hire me and I'll edit your fucking dirt sheet for you. Jesus Christ. I'm going to read it and make fun of it all anyways. I could edit this for you. You can pay people to do this. You could probably just get AI to do this to edit it for you. Even though WWE did take, a very significant hit in viewers over 50, Bryan, by going to Netflix, which I don't really think anyone expected. They are likely strong. What does that even mean? Which I don't think anyone expected them to take a hit in viewers over 50. Why would nobody expect them to do that? Dave, you say all the young people are streaming. It's obvious all the young people are streaming, and that's why Max, it's 800,000, Bryan. That's the type of shit Dave said. But nobody expected that. Maybe before this, nobody expected it. We'll give Dave the benefit of the doubt on that. It's early in the show. They are likely stronger in the key demo. Look at this run-on sentence. Oh my God, they're likely stronger in the key demos, although we can't prove that just by the nature of who watches Netflix. And again, in the key demos, Nick is belly laughing at this. Dave, they're stronger in the key demos. So just all younger people, like, what are you trying to say? There's multiple key demos that Netflix looks at. Okay? And it's just an incredible run-on sentence here. NFL does better in under 35 viewers on Netflix games as compared to the same games on network television as does NASCAR, but they lose in overall viewership because of the older viewers. So Dave is saying they do better in the under 35, but overall viewership is the key demo. Overall viewership. Is that what he's saying? Like, I'm trying to make sense of this. I think I understand what Dave's saying here. So NFL does better in under 35 viewers on Netflix games as compared to the same games on network television, as does NASCAR. But they lose in overall viewership because of the older viewers who are watching on television. Okay, Dave, all right. He's so stupid. I get what he's saying, but he's so goddamn stupid. So if Ellison has any affinity for wrestling, it would appear AEW is the only viable option. So he's trying to say, oh my God, he's trying to say that the older folks are watching on TV, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to make a case that, the younger audience, whatever, and that's the overall viewership. The key demo matters more than the overall now, or whatever the fuck. He always just flips around on this stuff. But he's literally saying, so if Ellison has any affinity for wrestling, it would appear AEW is the only viable option. Like, Dave, you can't just use words like here. Affinity definition. You have to define words. You can't just let people say words, An affinity is a natural liking, attraction, or close connection to someone or something. What the fuck would that have to do? They're already close they already have an affinity for WWE. So what you're trying to say is if you want to maximize whatever this word jumble is that I'm saying here, even though Paramount isn't fucking Netflix, okay, Well, they're both streamers, Brian. Okay, and Cadoodle's a streamer, and that's not the same thing as fucking Stars or whatever the R-rated Disney fucking, you know what I mean? Like those aren't the same things at all. Amazon's not the same as Hulu and shit. Jesus Christ, Dave. So Paramount, he's going, if they have an affinity for pro wrestling just at all, well, they're already working closely with people with TKO who own the WWE. Okay. So the word's meaning adapts depending on the context. So science and mathematics, chemistry and biology is the second definition. The attractive force that binds atoms and molecules together. So is that what Dave's talking about? Like his love for Kendall Gray? One is the loneliest number, Brian. Why not have two when you could have two wrestling companies? Ooh. Oh my God. So what does he mean here? Like Dave is such a fucking mental patient. And it would appear AEW is the only viable option. A, Dave, you don't know what a viable option is. B, you don't even know what Paramount's going after. You know nothing about their business. C, you're using the word affinity wrong, unless maybe you mean scientifically and mathematically, but then how does that make sense? You're trying to say more people would watch Dynamite and Collision than just Raw. Or just like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. Paramount and Netflix are not the same thing. And you don't even know their numbers. Like all you sit there and do is say that they put out wonky numbers. So now you're trying to go by their wonky numbers, but then you want to try and discredit and call them wonky when you're trying to prove the point that Dynamite beats them on HBO Max. It just doesn't make any sense. So he goes on and says, still, I want to make clear nothing is guaranteed in the TV business, and the new company has to greatly cut costs due to the gigantic price they are paying for the deal. They are leveraged like nobody's business due to the deal. That's one sentence. Still, I want to make clear, look, no comma or anything. He goes, still, I want to make clear nothing is guaranteed in the TV business, and the new company has to greatly cut costs due to the gigantic price they are paying for the deal, and they are leveraged like nobody's business due to the deal. Deal. Woo! Holy shit. We need flutes in the chat for that. Wow. Whoa. And then he starts the next sentence with but. Like, Dave, if you're editing and shit, there's a way to write that fucking paragraph you wrote above with periods and shit, and where you don't start, but rather end the sentence with a but. And then you can continue along from that and elaborate further. Jesus Christ, this shit stresses me out. Okay. And then this is how Dave writes. But the key to the boxing deal is that. So, oh my God, it's a 4-sentence, 1, 2, 3, 4.5, 5-sentence, sentences in one sentence, a paragraph in a sentence. Then Dave goes, blah, 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 like nobody's business due to the deal, period. But the key to the boxing deal, this. But the key to the boxing deal, this, period. I'm not making this up, guys. It's on screen. Blah, 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 blah. They are leveraged like nobody's business due to the deal, 5 sentences, period. But the key to the boxing deal, this, period. Whoa. Yo.
Dave is so bad. Dave is the devil. Or, the young superstar, babyface, the former heel thing. So,
whoa, man, there's some people who like talk better than they write or whatever. There's some people who write shit better than they can convey things using oral skills. But Dave Meltzer talks like he speaks, or part of that's retarded too. He speaks like he writes, and he writes like he speaks. Except for just the writing has like really bad grammar and punctuation, and he doesn't put like likes and ums in there. But sometimes they are in there, but he doesn't put like and like it's like he just cuts that all out. And like I swear to God, while he's writing, where he'd be going like he'll just like be Spurg typing shit out furiously. Grrr. Like he had to rush get this report out. He couldn't even proofread. But the key to the boxing deal, and this is just like a testament to the fucking, and not even like a colon at the end, but the key to the boxing deal is this colon. But you're also starting with but. It's just gross. It's greebly. You're terrible. And it's the qualities. Like I wrote 8 million bajillion words. So you'd study and learn if you read. It's like, Dave, it's shit though. So if I study and read a bunch of bullshit propaganda garbage that isn't even, you can't even take the fucking time and give the reader the respect to fucking proofread and edit this shit, or hire somebody to edit it up and punch it up after you fucking just scramble finger type this shit out, and then throw a paper on the ground and then fucking just type it in a text note on your phone anyways. Dave should be on Hoarders for real, but like it's garbage. And that's the thing with AEW. It's so funny how that's his favorite fed, when AEW is just Tone rolls out of bed, quickly puts a match together, and then just quickly like talks about it on Instagram Live, and then fucking throws it on TV, and everyone's like, I don't know, it's just shit happening in matches. We need more than that. That's the thing, Dave. You write all this to try and compensate for the fact that you lack substance and you don't really know what you're talking about. So it's just word salad that you don't even cleverly put together because you don't even take the time to proofread it. Fuck. Motherfucker. So he goes TNT. So this is what he says. But the key to the boxing deal, period. TNT literally what? That drives me insane. TNT literally just made this deal with DAZN for regular boxing on Saturday nights roughly once a month. Dave, this has nothing to do with anything. The deal signed in April was for multi-years. What? The deal? Is this a fucking prank? Is this AI? The deal, signed in April, was for multi-years. Dave, you're supposed to say the deal signed in April was for multiple years. No commas. Why are you Spurg adding commas now in a fucking 10-word sentence and then hyphenating multi-year was for multi-years? Multiple years, you mean? And then why is there no commas up here and then random sentences that don't even make sense right here? And then you hit everyone with TNT literally just made the deal. He's hitting you with Twitter, sicko literally. Literally, this literally happened. It literally, and everybody does that, right? But it's just the fact he's hitting you with like, actually, Bryan. These will be fights that air on DAZN worldwide and in the US, but will also have, and then no space between the comma. Look, the space between April, like where he puts comma, space, signed in April, comma, space. There's no, in the US, comma, no space, because he's just furiously trying to crank this out while he's cranking one out. But we'll also have a television component with TNT. The deal will be with all the promotions under the DAZN banner, which are Top Rank, Bob Arum, Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn, Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, and Queensberry Promotions, Frank Warren. Keep in mind that Mark Shapiro had not just pushed, but already talked about the idea of Zuffa Boxing and UFC airing on TNT on Saturday nights. When you look at the names, Hearn and De La Hoya in particular, you see people who are Dana White's enemies, and keep in mind both UFC and Zuffa Boxing are on Paramount Plus. So what Dave is trying to say is that Dana White, look, his enemies are also on Paramount and shit. Yeah, and? So why couldn't AEW exist on Paramount? We're not saying they won't for maybe a short period of time. Okay? And maybe Dave's trying to make the point like they could exist side by side. Here's the thing, though. All of those promotions that Dave is naming under the DAZN banner, they're also competing with each other, Dave. So it's not just Dana White versus all these guys. All these guys, Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn, have to fucking independently broker deals. Like boxing got fucking ruined because of that shit, where so many of these promoters just protected their guys and other promoters wouldn't go up against other promoters because they didn't want to have to split the pie. So it's like, it's just a whole different thing. You're talking about all of those boxing guys are competing, and they're competing with Dana White, and they all exist on the same thing, competing with each other. So now you're taking just Tone and saying that, well, because it's cheap, it's got failing numbers. You're talking about when Oscar De La Hoya puts on a fight, some of these things have fucking flopped. Yes, Eddie Hearn, he's all over the place. You see him in the background of the biggest fights on Netflix and shit already. Same with Dana White. These guys are a part of like the biggest fights and the biggest fucking events that you could see be put on, right? Tone's not behind any of that shit. There's just no motion with it. That's all anyone's saying. So they might even pick up, at least any rational person would say, I need some goddamn coffee. It's just Dave's like crazy ass sentences. It rubs off on you. I swear to God. It's like you can't rot your brain. This is brain rot. This is backrooms fucking tralaleo tralala brain rot in the IWC that Dave's just pumping out. Any rational person obviously understands that AEW might stay on there for another year, and it's all down to, do they pick up that fucking option? I say no. And if they fucking do, they're gonna get P. Diddy. They're just gonna be the afterthought, and it's gonna be up to them. Here's the thing at the end of the day, too, that nobody wants to talk about. It's up to them to promote fucking AEW. It's up to AEW to make people want to watch AEW. Okay? So all of this doesn't fucking matter. And Dave wants to go, nothing's for sure in the television business when it pertains to other shit. When he's talking about WWE, and yes, I get it, he's talking about AEW here, but he's mostly like breaking down the TNT, Paramount, WWE, TKO, combat sports side of all of this shit, right? And then he likes to say things like nothing's guaranteed, blah, blah, blah. But with AEW, nothing's guaranteed times 10 because the numbers aren't that good and you guys are lying about them. And you go to things like, oh, the pay-per-view. They don't care about pay-per-view. Okay? And when you're talking about all of these promoters, this is like 5 guys all competing with each other. It doesn't matter that it's, Dana White because TKO, all these other enemies. No, Tone, it doesn't run like a profitable business and shit. They're about to inherit anywhere from 5 to 25% of this company. Legally, right? Anything above 25, it would have to be disclosed. Some people say anything above 5, it would have to be disclosed. We looked into it before. And depending on how they classify AEW, depending how Warner Bros. Classifies AEW and how they do their paperwork, they might not have to claim up to 25% or whatever. That was our understanding of it here at DMDMW. But either way, Dave is just like conflating things and then saying nothing's for sure. And maybe he means that about AEW too, but it's like that's all anyone's saying. Nothing's for sure with AEW, and when nothing hasn't been for sure for a long while and people have pointed it out, and we're not sure on what the numbers are, we're not sure on what the pay-per-view buys are, we're not sure if it's actually doing good or if Tone is papering houses, we're not sure if we should even be going to Wembley anymore, We're unsure of our booking, which we're going to get into in a bit, where they last minute are taking matches that Dave and people thought were going to be on pay-per-views, and now those are just on fucking Dynamite. Kenny and MJF coming up for the world title. When we're unsure about fucking everything when it comes to the company, like that's all you have to say, Dave. Skip all this and go, it's not like AEW and WWE couldn't exist on Paramount, but things are unsure, and AEW's really going to have to like lay their claim. When you're talking about Eddie Hearn putting on a fucking Anthony Joshua fight, or fucking Oscar De La Hoya doing a fight with Canelo that draws, and then Dana White's doing the White House card that drew 37 million, and he's got Conor McGregor pulling up in 9 days that's going to do fucking massive views on Paramount. Yeah. Okay, like, sure, maybe you could compare them, but they're also all competing. You're talking about Just Tone, who offers nothing. I'm sorry. They're not worried about 700,000 viewers unless it's on TNT. Maybe if the people who just are watching on TNT and shit, if they can somehow convince every single one of them to go to Paramount and to buy Paramount Plus and subscribe to it every week, okay. But that's just not realistic. How many do you think float over? 500,000? Not even close to that. It will not even be close to that. So what you're banking on is the people who have HBO Max and then Dynamite, and then they just absorb that, and Dynamite's on Paramount Plus. And then now you're subscribed to Paramount Plus. If you were subscribed to HBO Max before, you're banking on all of them being retained, which is an invisible 500,000. Rumors are it doesn't even crack 100,000. And then the pay-per-view buys that nobody can verify, that also don't all translate to just HBO Max. So if we're to believe Dave Meltzer, from his own words, they go to Amazon, they're doing 30%, roughly his estimate, more buys ever since they joined Amazon. So how does that benefit Paramount? Dave's not even thinking about this. Well, they do 185,000 buys. Okay, how many of those are HBO Max? And if Tone doesn't know the numbers, how the fuck do you even know the numbers? And WBD doesn't tout the numbers, meaning they're not good, because if they were good, they would fucking tout them. That's just like anybody could tell you that. You don't need to even know what we're talking about to go, hey, if those numbers were good, would they flex them? Would they show them off? Well, absolutely. Anybody would you just walk down the street and say, hey, if your numbers were good, would you flex them? You know what I mean? Anybody would go, yes. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. So like Dave, he doesn't consider that either. Like and neither do the sickos. They're all just like, fucking all the YouTube buys, and they do buys on Amazon, and they do buys on fucking. Okay, so Paramount has to try and convert. Like, how many buys are they doing on HBO Max? They paid UFC 7.7 billion, 1.1 billion a year to not do pay-per-views anymore. So why the fuck would they even care about that at all? Dave doesn't even put that in his bullshit ramblings here. I can't even get through this first fucking. He goes, so in a deal literally made in April. He says, literally, this deal made in April again. For multiple years, TNT signed the leading rival boxing promoters of the boxing promotion they already have, and people who are White's personal enemies. Because, Dave, in the fucking boxing and fighting world, in the combat world, all of those promoters, like, this is how fucking stupid Dave is. And he's just stooging himself that he doesn't understand shit about boxing or MMA right now. And I wish that fucking MMA and boxing analysts would start calling. Where's Luke Thomas? Start calling Dave out on his shit. Where's MMA Guru making fun of this guy? Start clowning this guy. Dave, all of those boxers, Top Rank and Golden Boy and fucking bro, they cross over, so their fighters fight each other and shit, and they co-promote events. People in Zuffa Boxing can cross over. Dana White is promoting And there will be a Zuffa boxing logo on the fucking Tyson Fury Joshua fight when they make that happen. And whatever Tyson Fury's next fight is. Tyson Fury's fighting that guy who does the freak show fights in Russia or whatever. He's like a heavyweight and he fights like 3 versus 1 lightweights, or he fought like a bunch of midgets once or something like that, right? He does these freak shows. And that's Tyson Fury's expected next fight, allegedly. But like Dana White and them, they can cross promote those, so they don't give a fuck. That's the difference. AEW and WWE will not cross promote. They're going to pretend they're in different fucking universes. And AEW spurging out about WWE and the wrestlers crying about WWE on Twitter doesn't matter because they're never going to have a crossover. Whereas if Tyson Fury talks enough shit to this guy who's over here with Matchroom, they can fucking fight each other. That's still a possibility. And in the current landscape, that's more of a possibility because these promoters have protected their fighters for a long time, but a lot of them have realized they got to stop fucking doing that. And you need to make the fights that people want to see happen, right? And Dana White is fucking very much the person who influenced that by taking Chuck Liddell and bringing him to Pride and shit way back then. I'm not going to do an MMA combat sport history lesson. And if I'm off, fucking feel free to correct me, but God damn it. They can fight each other. The Ali Act, that's what everybody's crying about right now. The Ali Act, Dana White's trying to put it out of fucking biz. Dave, TKO, regardless of Paramount, is going to try and sign up every fucking boxer there is that's a big name and absorb everything. That's what they're trying to do with Zuffa. They're just going to try and own boxing, okay? And the Ellisons can help them procure that, and you're just too dumb to even fucking understand. So anyways, he goes, Paramount Plus has no wrestling promotion at all, yet people think because UFC and Zuffa Boxing have a deal with them that they would cancel AEW. No, it's because of the bad numbers and that shit and the political stance that the wrestlers and Mick Foley take and the fact that the Ellisons are magged up. That's what it is. Stop fucking trying to make it about UFC and Zuffa. That's not the reason. If that's the case, how did this new deal get made? Because it's combat sports, not pro wrestling, Dave. Again, there are capital K. Keep in mind that shortly after this deal commences, look at this shit. Dave's spurging out in his own newsletter. Again, there are, and then capital letter in the middle of this sentence, he starts a new sentence. Keep in mind that shortly after this deal commences, that Paramount Plus and HBO Max will become one larger streaming service, which means the company that did the huge overpay for UFC, they did an overpay for UFC. See how we just it's an overpay. So you want them to overpay for AEW? People are like, no, they're not going to overpay for it. Well, why wouldn't they? They did an overpay for UFC. Yeah, so they won't overpay for fucking AEW. They won't overplay their hand with they'll just go, be free. Or why wouldn't they go, you know what? We're just going to sell you back, Tone. We want you to buy back the 25%, or we're going to go shop it and sell it to someone else. Why wouldn't they do that? If they overpaid for shit, don't they want to recoup some cash? Don't you think they go, well, we have all this and we're friendly with TKO. We could just dip out on this AEW thing until WWE's ready to fucking put whatever on Prime. You know, how long are some of their other deals in place? Like, how do we not know that Saturday Night Main Event doesn't end up on Paramount or some shit in the near future? Like, Dave's just cooked. He's the cookie monster. And he just started a sentence with a capital letter in the middle of a sentence. Again, there are, keep in mind that shortly after this deal commences, that Paramount Plus and HBO Max will become one larger streaming service, which means the company that did the huge overpay for UFC, and one could argue Zuffa Boxing, which does weak numbers at $100 million per year, is even more of an overpay. But that $100 million is based on their view of the potential down the line of the company that Turkey Al-Sheikh, in theory, endless money, along with Nick Khan. Look at this, dude, Dave. Oh, man. Holy shit. Where does this sentence even begin? Guys, I'm going to read this whole one sentence, no period, where he spurgs out, doesn't even make sense, doesn't read it out loud. Guys, you just read things out loud, and if it don't jive, then it's contrived. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, we have to go all the way back. Listen to the sentence. Again, keep in mind that shortly after this deal commences, that Paramount Plus and HBO Max will become one larger streaming service, which means the company that did the huge overpay for UFC, and one could argue Zuffa Boxing, which does weak numbers at $100 million per year, is even more of an overpay. But that $100 million is based on their view of the potential down the line of a company that Turkey Al-Sheikh and theory endless money, along with Nick Khan as the behind-the-scenes promoter, who has an excellent reputation due to WWE's growth in recent year, and Dana White as promoter in front of the camera, will make this boxing franchise huge, period. And in time, the expectation is that they will, period. I'm not joking, guys. I'm not fucking joking. It's on screen.
There's a guy that has papers everywhere in this room.
Like, if I'm fucking, what am I doing that's so wrong? Should I not be pointing this out? This is brainwash, brain rot, brain dead, slop that should be exposed. And again, if you subscribe to this shit reg for $14.99, I'm trying to save your life. Don't be mad at me. Don't come in my comments mad at me that I do this. We have 50 years of this garbage to undo. This is fucked up, man. I'm like offended. I'm deeply offended by this. Personally. CWJ 1288 for 5 says, if by miracle all 700K bought Paramount Plus for $140 a year, that's $98 million. That is about half of what WB pays for AEW now. AEW is closer to TNA for rights. So there's math. Math is a wonderful thing.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
And Dave was begging on last DMDMW. Dave was begging Paramount, pretty much, being like, not begging, but insinuating that they should, because he thinks they're reading his garbage, which nobody can. It's not intelligible. He was like, they could do a deal at like $185 million or around there, or whatever the fuck you saying, like trying to push for the same amount that WB. Why the fuck would they give them the same amount when the numbers are going down by every metric other than yours? So you just broke it down, CWJ. If by a miracle, let's say all 700K, and people laugh at that too. They're like, oh, come on now, Phil, 700K, watch Dynamite? Like, not really. Like, if you average it, it's more like 600. But okay, let's round high, because this is how you defeat these motherfuckers. You give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, we'll just read your shit rag. And this is why you're a brain dead dummy, because like you don't even know how to write, and you're a writer. It's what you fucking do. Let's do math, which is what Dave claims he does, right? Meltzer Inferno, you gotta fucking learn.
Baby, learn Meltzer Inferno.
If by a miracle all 700K, let's say they convert all peak number 700K who watch on TV. So they're going to absorb the invisible 500,000 from HBO Max, which won't happen. There's going to be people who go, we don't like Paramount. They're a MAGA company and shit. There's going to be people who do that. Look at Paul Walter Hauser and all these fucking people crying. There are people who will do that and will refuse to pay for Paramount, but they supported HBO before. I promise you that'll fucking happen. So they're not going to convert 100%. And then let's take their television audience, high-end 700K on average. Let's say by a miracle, all 700K of those people bought Paramount Plus for $140 a year on average. Let's say they buy the upfront or they pay for it monthly. That's $98 million. They paid upwards, quote unquote, $185 million. Allegedly, they didn't really pay them that. Okay, I'm sorry, and it wasn't in cash. There were incentives and stuff, and also, I've just heard rumors. Whatever, it's not up for me. Nicolo Piccolo can tell you guys all about that shit, or Famous Davis, or some of these other guys who were leaking shit. It got plugs and shit. As far as HBO's concerned or whatever the fuck. All I'm saying is this, man. The rumors that are swirling around is like, it was not 185 million, but let's just say it was. Okay, 98 million. It's a little over half. What the fuck? You know, and then pay-per-view buys, but they don't even want pay-per-view buys. They're not trying to sell pay-per-views. Or they'd be selling me a Conor McGregor pay-per-view in 9 days. So Dave's just cooked. And again, this sentence is, I'm not lying. So he goes, again, comma, there are capital K, starts a new sentence. Keep in mind that shortly after this deal commences, that Paramount Plus and HBO Max will become one larger streaming service, comma, which means the company that did the huge overpay for UFC and one could argue Zuffa Boxing, comma, which does weak numbers, comma, at $100 million per year, comma, or per year is even more of an overpay, comma. And then he goes, capital B, but that $100 million is based on their view of the potential down the line of a company that Turkey Al-Sheikh, comma, in theory, endless money, comma. So are you saying in theory, because it's Turkey Al-Sheikh, he has endless money? This isn't journalism. In the NFL, they would fucking laugh you out of any room, any fucking low tier, C tier fucking football news site would laugh at you, Dave, because you can't write like that. You say Turkey Al-Sheikh and people know who he is in the combat sports world. You don't have to go, comma, in theory, endless money, comma, along with Nick Khan. You're trying to say Turkey Al-Sheikh sees the potential of the future in AEW. It's all ex-WWE guys that are over. So does he look at that fan base, look at the 2K people in the crowd, look at the people, the price they're paying people for how little they're drawing? Just because Tone's willing to waste his money endlessly doesn't mean other people are, Dave. They're not all money marks, okay? And you're like, oh, Turkey Al-Sheikh's looking at the future. Yeah, he is growing. He gets to match make. He gets to make fucking matches for Zuffa and tell Dana White, this is when we're doing this, brother. We've seen it in interviews. He's a part of it. He's going to grow it and blow it up. He doesn't want to team up with Tone, who's some kid billion, like Turkey Al-Sheikh's like, this is a kid, okay, who got his daddy's money, cool. They don't want to team up with him to help grow AEW for the potential down the line when the most over people are ex-WWE guys. Okay? They're not trying to do that. It's fucking nutty. Dave is just so nutty. Nick Khan is the behind-the-scenes promoter, has an excellent reputation due to WWE's growth, and Dana White as a promoter in front of the camera will make this boxing franchise huge. And in meantime, the expectation is that they will. Dave, Nick Khan and Tony Khan have taken shots at each other. Nick Khan takes the time to take shots at Tony Khan, like whenever he does interviews, and then you melt down and call him out about it. Why the fuck wouldn't he tell Paramount and Dana and all these people, yeah, fuck Tony Khan?
Best guys, Tony Khan.
Like, you're crazy. CWJ for 2, sweet, says, put the Wrestling Observer newsletter into Grammarly and show the score. Thank you. Dude, I really fucking should. We need to start doing that, okay? I'm not going to do it live right now because I've spent too much time on this. This is too much time. Rabid Wolverine LC Killer 17 for 2, sweet, says a first grader is a better writer than Dave. Without question. Absolutely without question. So we have to end this. He keeps going on. I'm just going to fly through this. Yet when the dust clears, as things stand right now, the new streaming service will not only air other boxing companies, but the key rival companies. No, it's not key rival companies, bitch. They are, but they aren't. And people who White himself are embroiled in a public feud with. When first announced, I had figured it would air at 10 p.m. when the Collision lead in, but instead, at least the first monthly show will air at 8 p.m. It remains to be seen the plans for the TNT boxing going forward as they idea of debuting. It was on 7-4. What the fuck? Going forward as they idea of debuting, it was on 7-4. Whoa! Whoa!
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class!
It should be noted that Collision would get destroyed in the ratings on that night just because it's July 4th, so excuses. So moving to Thursday is for the best. That does put it head-to-head with TNA. An inconsistent time slot is going to hurt ratings, although Collision was regularly moved for sports, and that will continue to happen outside of boxing nights as well. So they're already getting the shaft for all of this boxing. Well, all of this boxing exists, and Dana White's on there. Okay, and AEW's already getting bumped for boxing and shit. You think Paramount's not going to follow suit, dude? You think they're not just going to bump AEW? Oh my God. So again, Meltzer said what goes. So if Ellison has any affinity for wrestling, it would appear AEW is the only viable option. Like, it's actually mentally fucking ill what Dave Meltzer does and says. And so this guy goes, on the other foot, a crowd has the right to not react to crappy shows. And again, they put on crappy shows without one of the sport's top journalists calling them a dead crowd. Meltzer goes, given most called it a good to excellent show, the analogy is incorrect. It was ranked among the highest shows ever on Cage Match. I totally disagree, but this is a consensus score, and the wrestling was excellent. But clearly this was hardly a show to be called crappy. And the fact was the issue was crowd micing. I'm going mental, as those there live said the crowd was very loud and the Collision tapings had strong reactions. So when the crowd shit, it's the miking. Nope, I don't let WWE fans do this either. When they go, oh, they just weren't mic'd good. Nope. It was either a good crowd or it wasn't. And I just wrote consensus meeting 30 unbathed marks. And then Disco Inferno goes, the Meltzer and Cage Match crowd, which is like literally 34 people will rate a show, are the type of movie critics that are giving 4-star reviews to movies where a considerable amount of people are walking out of the theater and they are dumbfounded why people walked out. Yeah, they're fucking angry Joes crying about fucking Supergirl.
Learn,
Do you know what I'm saying?
baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
Zero Dark for 2 says, how dangerous is the 6? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Thank you for your support. Yeah, so we move along here, okay? And Dave Meltzer continues along with shilling for AEW and the television numbers. So Mr. Eddie Gillette posts, bro wrote a whole load of nothing when all he had to say is AEW Dynamite got smoked by NXT. Someone get Paramount on the phone. Well, 789, Brian. CWJ for 2 says, I miss the quarter hours to show people fleeing. Yeah, I mean, I do, but I don't, because like I do in that you can see who is like tanking the show and who isn't, but we already know, like, we don't even need that shit answered. We've seen it enough. We know them hiding it is more like, we know why you're doing that. Tits and Ricky Dozan and Timmy Hortons. Bye, Phil. Dude, you know it. Titties and Ricky Dozans and fucking and towel scarves. Is that what you're talking about? So AEW Wednesday did 600 and so this is what Dave's saying, okay? He's just chilling. AEW Wednesday did 616K, 0.10 and 18 to 49 and 0.18 and 25 to 54, which is a crazy differential by don't have placings or competition yet. But obviously World Cup and NBA draft. NXT had both as well as competition. This is panel plus big data, not including Max. And it's so funny how you too, buddy. You too. No, I know. I'm picking up like a fucking Ricky Dozan watch laid out in the fucking Las Vegas suite, penthouse suite, broken in half by God King. I'm picking up what's being put down. Okay, guys. So AEW Wednesday did 616. Okay, so this was the week that NXT did like 680 something or something like that, right? 650. We'll say 650, right? They did a similar rating, but it was higher. And so Dave, of course, has to compare it to NXT. And it's so funny how, as Zero Dark in chat, and everybody knows in chat, and everybody watching the show understands, NXT is like the most developmental it's been in a fucking while, bar the world heavyweight NXT heavyweight title or whatever, the men's title, whatever you want to call it, because those are two vets, right? So the fact that AEW at this point, when everyone's like it's white hot, is even still being compared to the pure developmental, like they're done with Oba and Javon, and these people have all been called up, right? And now we're in an era, and like Joe Hendry's not there. We're in an era of like all these new faces, to where people are melting down and deliberating over who's going to make it. Is Mason Rook a waterbed? Is Jim Cornette, right? Like who's going to make it, who's not? Kalani Jordan. Dave's finally realizing Kalani Jordan's really good. Yeah, she been good, bro. And it's funny because when Dave says shit like Dynamite fucking beats Raw, so that would mean NXT's beating Raw and SmackDown's beating Raw, yet their ratings are less and their attendances are less or whatever. So none of it adds up. None of it makes sense. And so Meltzer goes, added 21% faux SmackDown. Okay, so look at this. More typos in his tweets because he's just furiously fucking tweeting. He's all oiled up. His hands are slippery. Panel alone system until September added 21% faux SmackDown and 23% to Dynamite in viewers last week, and even more in key demos. So since the last time, and I hope I'm tracking this correctly, since the last time that Dave Meltzer said that they updated the panel, apparently they updated the panel plus system again or something, according to him. But the last time in April, no one actually came out and confirmed this. Nobody's come out and said, yeah, Nielsen switched up again. But we still give people like Raj Giri, still give Dave the benefit of the doubt, and like will run with his, I mean, the method switched again. So they still give him the benefit of the doubt in that, when people really should stop. Because look at this paragraph right up. He doesn't even running through the 6 with his foes. You know how that shit go. Look, he can't even fucking spell 4. He's just furiously lubed up and typing. So we move along here, and I think we have more sweeping for AEW. So speaking of Raj Giri, Raj had this to say. When was the last time Dave said on an episode of Dynamite sucked or was even bad? Not a segment, not part of it, but that whole episode sucked or wasn't good. I'm genuinely curious. Disco says Dave Scherer referred to Meltzer once as AEW's house organ. It's a perfect description. So then Raj goes, so it's never happened. How can people take him seriously when he believes one company can't do no wrong? Even when they collapsed in ratings and overall interest for a while, they've come back. And then Dolphins Talk says he just said on his podcast tonight that he had a meeting scheduled with the Nielsen people. So Dave says he has a fucking meeting scheduled with Nielsen, and they stood him up. So even if he did,
he had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Okay. And he goes, he said there's been no time in history when AEW has been watched by more people. He didn't say it flat out, but it sounded like he wanted to meet with the Nielsen people for true data to prove AEW is more watched than WWE, so he can give it to TK so he can ensure Paramount doesn't cancel him. Oh my God. And then Raj Giri says everyone with common sense knew. Now I think Meltzer said what? The GOAT. Okay, we went over this. Shout out Nicolo Piccolo. And I think Meltzer said what? The GOAT actually posted the clip. Here we go. I believe this is the clip. This is a 2-minute long clip, and Meltzer said what goes, Dynamite Dave tried to set up a meeting with Nielsen. Have no doubt this man would napalm a Vietnamese village to find a way to beef up Tony's ratings. Where's my GOAT? So let's take a listen to this clip.
Later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But But by the way, did I tell you that I was supposed to have a meeting with Nielsen about this? And okay, didn't happen. Big shock, huh?
Who were you going to talk with?
I have people there from other points in life that you know.
Oh, I just love when he gets all other points in life, Brian. Just listen.
Who were you going to talk with?
I have people there from other points in life.
I have people there from other points in life. Dude, I did a whole bonus episode on patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. I did a bonus episode of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week where I chronicle all of his best friends over the years. And he has friends in fucking like all these different areas. So it makes him an expert allegedly in all these areas, right? And one of his quote unquote friends starts as this girl. I saw her on the news talking about Donald Trump or something like that. He says, right? And he's like, and we were best friends. He literally starts by saying that. Then he goes, well, we weren't really friends. I mean, we were close. We hung out in like not the same friend group, but different friend groups. And well, I mean, we probably would have hung out. She lived like a block over. I'm not joking. I'm not fucking joking. And it's like, whoa, Dave, you're creepy, man. You're weird.
That you know, people at Netflix
was it like somebody who was in charge of some of the decision making, or was it just
no?
What was happening?
No. It was actually about the difference between
no, Brian. No, Brian.
The panel numbers and the panel and big data numbers.
Like he's talking to Garrett, but
because it's like, you know, which I guess we'll talk about that later in the show. But it's like just as an example, like the SmackDown was on Friday. Last Friday SmackDown was 1,191,000, I believe, and 0.25, and then the panel numbers 1,444,000 and 0.34. Those and actually Collision was the one that had the biggest difference. I mean, the 18 to 49 Collision number was up 60% in the panel, and it's like, okay, I can see 5-10% variations in different methods. But I mean, with AEW, you know, it's like in 1849, it's like Collision's up 60. Well, it would be up from 0.5 to 0.8, so it's 62.5%. It's up, right? 3/5, so 60% up. And then
he starts at 60.25. 60.
Dynamite is up from 50% because it's up from 0.12 to 0.18. And it's like, you know, basically like these variations are too high. And, you know, it's, you know, like you and I just talked about this earlier. It's like they changed the system to benefit the NFL in particular.
AEW's not peaking anymore, Brian. Why doesn't he say that? Why is it always just like WWE's not at its peak? It's like, yeah, dude, it's been around for 50 years and it's had peaks and valleys. AEW has just trended downwards. That's all and then you had Punk show up and then it's like bloop. There's a blip up again, and then it just went downwards from there again. So
and sports in general, and somehow for reasons that, you know, people have tried to explain but never really have done well, that wrestling got caught in the crossfire and got hammered really bad. And, you know, we've had several
He got cross hammered. Cryin Cross debuting in AEW, Brian. I mean,
changes, but the you know, the panel numbers are still there. So I mean, I know.
So for whatever reason, Dave here, Dave thinks he knows what the fuck he's talking about. So Niccolo Piccolo had some more insight to share and some more clips from the Wrestling Observer itself. And God bless him for reading this shit and extracting it so we can make fun of it. So Niccolo Piccolo says, source, David Ellison is a wrestling fan, and don't say Tony Khan. Don't say Tony Khan. You know what that means. There's only one thing to say.
Guys, Tony Khan.
So Dave says, actually, you know, it's like, except, you know, Collision is, you know, going to be bounced around regularly going forward. And they're the Oh my God. See, I can't even like read it as a bit because it's actually that tarded. Collision is going to be bounced around regularly going forward, and there are very noted political implications in this. Oh, so he's trying to say, and there are very noted political implications in this. Holy fuck. TNT is getting into the boxing business with a monthly Saturday night show called TNT Boxing. The TNT boxing story is actually of major significance, Bryan, to wrestling fans who seem to want to believe that TKO will force AEW off the station after the Paramount Skydance purchase, even though Tony Khan every week talks about being friends with Dave Ellison from the NFL and that Ellison is a wrestling fan. Holy run-on sentence, Batman. So again, Mick Foley's silence is complicit. Tone likes to flex that he's friends with Ellison, but Ellison's never been like, yeah, I love Tone. So he could just be talking shit. They did other projects with the NFL. Yeah, they let Tone wear a neck brace, and he probably paid them to let him do this. Just like he pays them to do the lucha masks. He probably paid them to do NFL films with him with the fucking neck brace on, and they all think he's autistic, and they're like, okay, we'll fucking we'll let this kid, this fucking special needs kid here do this. You know what I mean? Like, that's all that is. I don't. So again, Dave just has to keep reiterating over and over and over and over and over and over and over again to the wrestling fans who seem to want to believe that TKO will force AEW off the station after the Paramount Skynet. We get it, buddy. Like, just say what you're trying to say. Just do the report. Like, don't filibuster with all this garbage that doesn't mean anything. So he goes, while Paramount always could take WWE down the line, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT are all under contract through 29, and nobody is making any decisions next year about what. So, okay, why don't they just, they might put AEW on there? Probably not. Okay, there's people who are saying they're going to pull the plug this month. It's July 2nd, so sometimes this month. I'm just saying this. They keep AEW on Paramount for a year, and then they don't pick up the ops. They just let their shit run, or they pick up the 1 year extra. They let the shit run up, and then 2029 comes a knocking right around the corner. WWE shows up. NXT splits into two brands. Fucking AAA has an American division. Fucking, there was rumors of a third main roster show. I don't think they should do that, but when is SmackDown done on the? When is their shit till the US with USA? Who fucking knows? So, plus the most likely scenario would be after 29 for Raw and SmackDown to both end up on Netflix, unless Netflix has decided they have enough WWE and don't want more. Well, I think everybody wants more WWE right now. I don't know if SmackDown being, I mean, it's all in Canada. It's all on Netflix already. So that would be cool if Americans could enjoy that as well. But yeah, they're going to go like, I don't know. Dave's just purely speculating, you know? So here's another pull. Niccolo Piccolo had this to say, just a big, long right up here. He goes, here's my read on what's up next on Paramount WBD. I think this closes faster than people expect. DOJ clearance took the main U.S. federal antitrust block off the board. Once that happened, the remaining process became less about deal viability and more about how much regulators can extract before they let it through. Wow, clear and concise fucking sentences that are straight to the point. How refreshing. The market isn't acting like this is a broken deal. And also with the DOJ thing, like, remember they were talking about, well, we want to get it done this summer. We're hoping September. And then it just fucking 4 days later, it's done. It's like, all right, this is moving way quicker than anybody thought. The market isn't acting like this is a broken deal. It's acting like a large, complicated debt finance media transaction grinding through the final regulatory checkpoints, which is a different posture from a transaction where financing, control, antitrust theory, and closing certainty are still in question. I mean, proper use of fucking commas and stuff. Europe is first. July 14 is the foreign subsidy deadline. And yes, the Gulf capital gives the commission a real hook. But this looks more like a commitments track than a kill shot because the commission can make noise around Saudi, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, linked money, ask for assurances, create a political record, and still clear the transaction. The cleaner EU pressure point is ordinary merger review, especially kids and family content, which is so key, is the kids and family content. Paramount is Nickelodeon and WBD is Cartoon Network. That's the obvious overlap, and it's also the easiest one to solve. The Ellison side has already talked about the kids channel issue and a narrow remedy. There lets regulators regulate in. The regulators, ain't no mistake in the game, Warren G. say they did their job without blowing up a deal the U.S. already cleared. The UK CMA, Competition and Markets Authority, is the real timing weapon. August 7 is the phase 1 deadline. Everyone knows phase 2 is the hammer. Paramount has every incentive to solve this at phase 1 with commitments around theatrical output, windows, licensing, distributor access, and kids content, rather than let CMA, Competition and Markets Authority, drag the deal into a longer process. Let me just quickly reread that again, because I'm just too redacted to understand all of this stuff, but this is just a way more intelligible breakdown. So they're going to want to get this done quicker, okay? The theatrical piece is important because Ellison has already said the combined company would release at least 30 full theatricals a year and maintain a real theatrical window. Good. That's what I like to hear. That's exactly the kind of public pledge regulators and exhibitors can convert into writing. They don't need to invent a new remedy from scratch. They can take the promise and make it enforceable. The FCC won't let me be me. The FCC is the other box, but Paramount structured around the obvious foreign ownership issue. The foreign capital is mostly in non-voting economics, while Ellison and Redbird keep voting control with CBS broadcast stations and the structure. The FCC can still create political noise, but the legal answer to control has already been built into the deal. So this is just getting into it, the nitty fucking gritty. Okay. So go and check out Niccolo Piccolo. Okay. You just fucking scroll his timeline. That could be a show, but, again, love him or hate him, he would know more about this than fucking Dave. And again, not to leave out any context here, it's all valuable information, but base case, this closes in late August or the first week of September with commitments, not a dramatic last-second rescue at the end of Q3. The story now isn't whether Paramount WBD survives the process. It's how much regulators can grab before, Paramount gets the deal done. Then hit some.
Roll that, like that, smoke it. Roll that, like that, let's go. Smoke it. Day I need an ounce of that.
With the verses. Dude, I miss those. Do they still do the verses, rap battles? And this was a month ago, almost 2 weeks ago, rather. And so Niccolo Piccolo says, shut the fuck up, Dave Meltzer. And Dave goes, AEW. The Financial Times reported that European regulators are expected to approve the Paramount Skydance purchase of WBD. Oh my God. Did he just read Niccolo Piccolo's shit and then fucking try and regurgitate it? Lucy Moody for 2 says, put JJ on, please. CWJ for 2 says YouTube view count last 30 days. WWE 633 million. AEW 91 million. This is what I mean. You can just destroy them with math.
Meltzer Inferno.
And Miyagi Jung is a new member. Fuck yeah, dude. Welcome and enjoy the member shows and the member content. Member Mondays is when I typically do a stream. If I miss Monday, though, I do it sometimes during the week. So make sure you guys get your memberships and support the channel. Check out patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes as well for bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. So I think Dave read Niccolo Piccolo's tweets and then fucking just tried to regurgitate his shit, but cleverly, instead of just going Niccolo Piccolo, a fucking experienced Hollywood agent, had this to say. It's just crazy. This story reported the European Commission is expected to give the deal its approval, citing 2 individuals familiar with the discussions. The story was that they are working on a deal, provided that Paramount and Skydance agree to a number of commitments designed to address competition concerns. The story is that negotiations over final conditions are ongoing, but the approval is within reach, Garrett. what they are, looking for to approve with the sale has not been finalized. But one thing apparently discussed is that they would require Paramount to exit its joint venture with Universal Pictures. Is there any truth to that? The biggest threat to the sale still looks to be attorney generals in various states, particularly California. And Drew McIntyre sticking a claymore in this whole thing. Send Drew. Has he done a Universal picture? So, jeepers, man. Let's see. I just want to see if there's any more Dave talking about numbers and all of this stuff. And his fucking sycophants, like, look at this. Real Philly P. Okay? I denounce this Phil. Okay? Us Phils denounce real Philly P. And he's not one of us. And so, no. He goes, Dave, that Owen final is currently the highest rated women's match in AEW history on Cage Match. And in the top 10 of all AEW matches ever. It better get a 5. And Dave loves Cage Match. Motherfuckers are talking about Tone is showing executives Cage Match ratings and shit. Just ludicrous. Luda. So speaking of AEW, let's get into some more AEW discussion here when it comes to Dave Meltzer. And Dave Meltzer rated Athena versus Maya World in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament a 4.25 stars. So there you go. I think that guy's dreams were broken. I'm not sure if Sassy Girl has been a member for 13 months and says, Phil, can you send JJ the link? Possibly. I don't really I've never had a guest on DMDMW. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if this is, if that's what I'm aiming to do right now, but possibly. Athena versus Maya World, though, I think that's what Philly P was talking about. And thank you for 13 months of membership. And yeah, so Dave give it 4.25. I mean, Cage Match ratings, none of this shit matters. And this is where I get upset with motherfuckers like Will Ospreay. When you're already a millionaire and you already have fucking all the money in the bank, and then you don't have to go out there and try and actually get over. You just rest on your laurels and do like the same fucking match with Swerve that you do with Mike Bailey and you do with everybody else. And then Dave just rewards it 5 fucking stars, and that's all you're doing it for. That just leaves AEW in a worse place. That's not good for tone. But yet they're like hung up on this shit. They think that executives are going to look at Dave Meltzer, who can't even formulate a fucking sentence properly, and they're going to look at that and then look at like Cage Match ratings. And it's just a bunch of stinky neckbeards voting on shit in Cage Match ratings. They think like that's going to turn the tide or change perception. And I've said it a million times, like these guys truly believe that if you took any episode of Dynamite, like yesterday's episode of Dynamite, and you take Monday Night Raw off the air, you put it on Netflix, Dynamite, when Raw is supposed to come on, they think that would like do the same rating or pop a bigger rating, or all those people it would make them all AEW fans. I swear to God, they believe that, and it's fucking craziness. And shout out Maya World. I'm not even hating on her. I actually applaud Tone because I said he should do that. He should push her to the fucking finals and try and like make a star, like try and make somebody something. Like maybe it becomes the new Kofi Mania, Maya Mania. I don't know. I don't know if Tone even has the capacity or the fucking creativity to facilitate that. But what I'm saying is, try something different, do something crazy, as Asher Roth would say, right? And man, I love college, and I love Ricky Doze and Bryan, and I love Tone. So Dave talks about Forbidden Door, this was before it went down, okay? And this was him already pre-glazing it before it even happened.
That is a crazy show. I mean, when you look at those matches, it is going to be something. I will say that. I don't know if every match will be great, but I mean, we're going to get seven or eight awesome matches on that show. It's
2, 4,
cage match
6,
has to be
8. Who do we appreciate? Tone, Tone.
But there's no way around that one. Moxley and Bandito is probably about a 95% chance of a great match.
Oh my God.
Omega and
how can you say that? How can you even say that? How would you know that? They're just going to do good moves. 90% chance they do some good moves, Brian.
Back is probably 95% chance of a fantastic match.
Now he's doing the weather report. Now he's so boring, tired. Oh, it's 95% going to be such a great match. Look how excited I am for this excitable show. Well, I'm very tired and I'm actually just lying and don't really care about any of this. And he does the weather forecast for how good the matches are going to be now. That's Dave's approach. You couldn't be any older of a man.
It's Swerve and Will Ospreay is 110% chance of a fantastic match.
Oh my God. It's 110% chance. So more than 100, just like the 5-star system. If it's 7, it's way better, 110% chance, not 100. So it's actually less likely now that Mox and Bandito's good because 95 and 100, it's not really 100 is the limit. It's actually 110, Brian. Push it to the limit, Brian.
Match using math that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, using math that doesn't make sense. The fuck are you talking about? He's literally reading a weather report trying to get the fucking matches over for this show.
The Mystico match, the 3-way. I mean, that match, it can't help but be great. It's the first time the Young Bucks have ever wrestled Mystico or Dorada, which is interesting. And, adding Teton in.
Wasn't Mascara Dorada like in the Lucha House Party or some shit? And then Mystico, he's this big fucking legend, yet MLW books him better. And he's relegated to a fucking 3-way tag match with Teton. What the fuck is a Teton? What is that, like a fucking cocktail or something? Go. And Dave's like, it can't help but be a great match. He just loves moves so much.
There, that guy's.
Well, that was a glitch.
That is a crazy show. I mean, that match, it can't help but be great. It's the first time the Young Bucks have ever wrestled Mystico or Dorada, which is interesting. And, adding Teton in there, that guy's awesome. I mean, you got.
I know it doesn't math. Yeah, you mean like 110%? The fuck you talking about?
It's just, man, what a show. Techland Starlight Kid's going to be really good. AEW's had some of the best pay-per-views that they've ever had this year. And this one, like, it feels to me that it's missing, the
Zero Dark for one. Did you forget to type something in there? Weather. Humper Chat. Thank you so much for your support. What are you saying in here? I put Meta World Peace on the weather report in Vancouver. In Vancouver once. That's awesome. Thank you for the support. That actually rules. Shout out Meta World Peace. Is that still his name? He goes by that still, or he didn't switch it back at all?
Missing of the world title as the main event may have it short, but that cage match is going to be out of this world.
Vancouver, bud.
I mean, with all the talent that they got in that match, I mean, that match is going to be fantastic no matter what. I mean,
so listen to the way he's glazing it. Was it that good? Like, I rated Forbidden Door a C overall.
Crazy. So, yeah, I'm curious to see, like, I'm sure it won't do the numbers that Double or Nothing did.
But then he melts down in a bit, and you guys are going to hear he says that it did 185K. Or roughly 185K when he's coping about WWE.
But I think it's still going to do pretty well. You know, I can't imagine it not really.
Why? But how? Like, what would indicate it's going to do good pay-per-view buys? Because fucking Mystico and Titan are in a match with Mascara Dorada and the Young Bucks? Why would that magically sell anybody on a pay-per-view? He just puts over these matches like he's doing the weather report, and then he fucking goes, because for those reasons, I can't imagine it won't do well. You're cooked, buddy. So here is Dave Meltzer. Well, we'll circle back to that because they cry about CM Punk quite a bit here. And here's Dave now talking after Forbidden Door about how good Forbidden Door was. And of course, he was there with his gaggle of troglodytes here. I'll be there for Nuge, and I'm there for Tone 2. Down, down, and down, 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 down. Right? So they're all there. It's a friends' night. A real sausage fest. Am I right, fellas? Go. And Dave gets back from this AEW show, and this was his thoughts on it. And we're going to get into him getting like a private lap dance. I mean, private media scrum with Tone.
It was an excellent show, but what do we say? You know, these shows are too long. It was so front-loaded with those first 3 matches, and it made it difficult. But
it was very selfish. Like, if you have to say that about a show, oh, they front-loaded it, and it was difficult for how long it was. That's just automatically an L. That's bad booking because it's bad formatting. And it's like, why did you make all the EVPs go first and have 30-minute fucking matches where they do every move there is to do and hit the announce tables and do every fucking thing? That's just very selfish of the EVPs.
Oh, everyone by the time they got into their flow, the crowd was with them.
I thought it was either the best or the second best pay-per-view they've ever done. And
okay, well,
most people
wow, that's impressive.
Most people that watched on television were talking about how it was an absolutely unbelievable show. And I think the one thing, while I wouldn't say it was the best AEW show of all time, is
I wouldn't call it the best, but it was a great show.
It was a great show, but like on television, like the matches were unbelievable. The crowd was unbelievable. Even I mean,
the match quality.
They got tired out to where they turned into a Japanese crowd where they started just like applauding the spots, but then were dead quiet in between the setups. And also AEW, they always fail at ending the matches at the right time. So they have the crowd like peaked, and then they just fucking finisher, kick out, finisher, kick out, power up, finisher, kick out, finisher, 1, 2, 3. When it's like you had the crowd before that ending sequence of bullshit.
Start to finish, like
every match was great.
Every match was very good to great.
But I do think the one thing about the show is, I mean, it was just, I mean, match. Everything between 18 and 33 minutes, 35 minutes for the main event. Yeah. And really, aside from, there was the Andrade turn, and there was the Jay White return.
Yeah.
And like, other than that, it was just 12 matches.
Yeah, the Jay White return was the highlight, and then the low light was Andrade. And I fucking love Andrade, but that shirt spot at the end was the dumbest fucking thing of all time. And that's the booker needs to go, no, we do that at the start of the match. You're not going to go through tax and all this shit just to fucking then turn on them. You're going to do that at the start, and you're going to gang beat these motherfuckers up. But there's just no like quality control.
So I think it was missing. Like, it didn't have a big world championship change. It didn't have a...
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't say it was the best AEW pay-per-view I've ever seen, but as far as, like, matches watching it on television...
Even Bry is like, yeah, I mean, Ospreay being crowned the Owen Hart, no one gives a shit. There was no moment. That's what he say. Even Bry's saying it.
I think people watching on television thought the show was much better than I think you did live. Because
that would be pretty good. That would be pretty impressive because I thought it was a pretty great show live.
Of course you did, dude. Of course. And he made it home in time. He didn't even change his outfit. He jumped on the air. He made it home in time, stayed late for the fucking press scrum and everything. Okay. And so here is Cryin Bryan and Dave Meltzer talking about Ospreay versus Swerve. Okay, now I tweeted this out. Swerve and Ospreay both do the same match every single time they wrestle. I'm sorry, but that's not impressive just because it's very physical, especially when everyone's very physical in the company. Watch MMA if you want to see repetitive and real ass whoopings. It's far more rewarding and it's actually real. And I'm not saying that to shit on pro wrestling, but it's just like we pop for Drew and Punk in the cell dumping beads out. That's the biggest pop of the Hell in a Cell match. That's the most emotional moment. They got beads over. That's how good those guys are. Yes, was it a physical match? Sure, but it was the other shit that made the physicality mean more. If you want to see guys just do the same sequence, Swerve and Ospreay have the same match, especially the same big match, like their big blow-off match. It's the same with every fucking guy. MMA, dude, if round one starts, motherfucker goes out there, establishes the jab, establishes his leg kick, fucking does a couple feints, feels the guy out. Does he bite on my feint? Oh no, I'm gonna double leg him. Boom. Like you feel each other out. It's repetitive, but it is rewarding because it's dire consequences. There is dire consequences in wrestling, but it's also acting at the same time. So you have to give, there has to be more than just like we can do every fucking move in the book. Yes, it's physically impressive, but like if that's what you want to see, Ospreay's not getting any more over. Just watch fights. I don't understand I don't know, whatever. So here's a clip of them putting over this Ospreay Swerve match and asking, was it match of the year? Not even close, in my opinion.
Will Ospreay Swerve?
We've just seen this. This is just a repeat, right?
Owen Hart finals, and ultimately, depending on where you stand in the ongoing AEW.
CM for 2 says Dave Bryan sickos, every AEW show equals best ever. Exactly. And if everything's the best, then nothing's the best. If everything's 5 stars, then nothing's 5 stars. Right? If everything's 5-star, then the fucking sometimes you have a segment where Shane McMahon comes out, blows out his fucking quads like his dad did, stunting like my dad. Hey. And thank you, CM, for the super chat. And he blows out his quads, and then Snoop Dogg hits a fucking people's elbow on him. And then that's a 5-star segment, even though they didn't even mean for it to be. And even though, let's say Shane did come out and have an impromptu match where he beats the Miz up or something, that may have gotten over 5 stars as well. Like it's not. And again, we're talking 5 stars, like how normal people would go, okay, we're rating something out of 5 stars. Like each thing is going to have different criteria and you have to factor in, there's multiple things that need to be factored in. Dave doesn't do that. It's just move based. And it's so telling. LK8181 has been a member for 25 months. God damn.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
Dave was so close to criticizing AEW today, but he had to make sure Tony knew he wasn't complaining. Yep. And we got it bookmarked here. So
versus WWE War. It's either this or the mask match of the year. I mean, this was absolutely
this or the mask match. It was the mask match. Like, oh my God, in 10 years, no one will remember this. And I'm sorry they won't. Do people still clamor about Mox and Hangman it all in? Oh my God, what a moment. The changing of the guard of AEW, that match. No, they don't. They don't. And I'm sorry, they're not going to talk about this nowhere near the same way the Mask versus Mask El Grande gets talked about. And that's not being an E-shill or a AAA drone or whatever. It's just the truth.
Incredible.
More people still talk about the fact that Goldberg's bitter after getting cut off at the fucking Saturday night main event retirement speech than they talk about the Hangman Moxley match.
Tanahashi Okada, too.
I don't know, man. This one was incredible.
Tanahashi Okada. It was a really good match, actually. Tanahashi Okada fucking ruled and blew my expectations away. And they just paced everything out. Like, they just worked a WWE style. It just shows you if Okada went to WWE, he could get super over. Someone needs to convince him to go.
Best AEW matches ever.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
On television? Are you kidding me? It was incredible.
It was awesome. I would say...
Niccolo Piccolo, if you're out there, Nudge, nudge. Fucking the Ricky Dozan commemorative watch. The Antonio Inoki commemorative scarf towel. Right? The next thing, Okada to the Fed. You want to blow up Tone's spot? You want to really shake things up and fucking piss
Or,
Dave
the
off
young
or what?
superstar, babyface, the former heel thing. So I probably have it as, top 3 or 4 of the year. It was awesome. It was awesome. The thing.
So none of the Kendall Gray matches, top 3 or 4. So Bry names Mask versus Mask. Dave names fucking Tanahashi Okada. They're deliberating between Osprey Swerve, but then Dave says that Kendall Gray's 5 stars and her and Lola are doing matches that are better than anything in the women's Raw, but they don't even rate top 3 now already. These guys are just chuckle fucks.
Man, I don't want to say one thing bad about this match because we were so deep into the show. But
so even he's like, dude, the show went so long you can't even appreciate it. Oh, so bad booking and bad formatting? Okay.
The first match, the Young Bucks match, still had way more heat than this one. But I mean,
oh my god, a random generic 3-way Bucks versus Titan versus Mascara Dorada had more heat than the main event. Bruv, Swerve, winner gets a shot at All In.
Poor people don't like AEW.
Think about what that says about the state of AEW.
At the end,
and then listen to how Dave completely fucking says some complete other shit when his truth speaks differently.
Post-match, man, it was awesome. Like the way they structured the match with Will bleeding and then Swerve bleeding and all those kickouts, and they kicked out of stuff that people were sure was the finish. I mean, so it was absolutely an incredible match.
Could you guys imagine if Niccolo Piccolo signed Okada and got him into WWE, dude? That would be so fun. Because, where do you go from, okay, you get the Ricky Dozan commemorative watch, you break it, right? You're out with some fucking hot chick in Vegas, and she's using it as a fucking anklet or whatever. She's wearing it as a fucking, wraps her silverware in it, fucking ties her hair with it or whatever. Then you fucking get the Inoki. You're with a different chick, at least I'm pretty sure. You get the Inoki scarf, and she's like, is it a towel? Just trolling. The only way to go, the only thing you could do besides getting Giant Baba's red trunks and fucking having a brunette this time wear them around the fucking... the fucking name your hotel in Vegas. What else could you do? Okada versus fucking Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania or something, right? That's the next step in felting, Dave. Right? Where do you go from there? You got to sign away Okada because he still puts over every Okada match like it's the greatest thing of all time. And with the Tanahashi Okada match, it proves if Okada, in my opinion, went and worked a slowed down pace in WWE and just focused more on the drama, he would get super over in WWE. Because that's the match he worked with Tanahashi, and Dave just fucking loved it. But he just said that the Bucks match with Titan had more heat than the main event that they've been building up to. Osprey, Owen Hart finals, winner gets a shot at All In, blah, 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 right? At the title at All In, main events All In, blah, blah, blah. And then he's going to sit here and talk about how AEW's peaking, even though they're just still stuck in a lull. Dave was too tired in the building. He's like, I won't dare say one bad thing about the match, but I was tired and didn't care. So then that's terrible booking. The booking hasn't changed. It's been bad. The wrestlers are just doing moves. You know what I'm saying? What's changed about it that makes Ellison and Paramount want to be a part of this? What the attendances aren't improving. You might go, oh, well, they do over 3,000, Phil, on average. Okay, but they're not improving. I mean, last year it was way down. This year it feels way down. Let's say they're back to where they were peaked last year, the year before. It's still that's not good. It hasn't been good. So what about it makes it feel better than it's ever been? I just genuinely don't know how you can, in what way, like the fan perception? I don't think so, man. They did one good house in New York. Like, I don't think that's an indicator that they're losing to NXT some weeks still in the ratings. And NXT is like Will Cruz and shit. And no offense, but a lot of people hate on. I like Will Cruz. I like Mason Rook, but a lot of people hate on that dude. A lot of people are like, I don't give a fuck about Tony D and Naraku and shit. I'm not the biggest Tony D fan. I got to be honest. I was pulling for Evil to beat him. There's a bunch of the girls there, but a bunch of the people like got called up that people were tuning in to see, and they're still beating NXT, AEW sometimes. So, like, how does it feel bigger? Meanwhile, WWE, the peak is over. And people are crying because we're getting big box office matches like Brock and Oba in a Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam. And they try to make that out, like, we get that as fans. And they're trying to make that out to be a negative. Meanwhile, AEW's doing super predictable shit that Dave stooged, and then they had to pull back on, which we're going to get into.
I had people who were there who said that it felt like the
and Dave had people who were there. I had people, Brian.
You know, like when we went to Chicago years and years ago when they were at their peak with Punk.
I have eyes everywhere, Brian.
Everything, the first peak. It feels like we're at
the first peak.
You know, it's not as peaked as then, but I think that it's probably the strongest it's been since then as far as crowd reactions and as far as depth and storylines. As far as depth and storylines, it's better than it's ever been. You know, I mean, the depth is unbelievable. I mean, it's like,
hey, so they've been saying that since day one. AEW's always had depth, bro. Everyone can wrestle. So put that aside. And then the storylines are better than ever. That's not saying much if that's true. And really the storyline just is that there's multiple people coming after MJF constantly. So WWE. So Cody Rhodes. Okay.
They have depth. You know what's funny is the company that probably had the most depth of talent that I could ever remember would be late 1990s WCW.
Depth of talent as far as people who do moves, not as far as people who get out. Where's Evan Courageous? Shout him out. But like, and I'm not sure if he's RIP actually, so I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but you know if he is. I don't even, is Evan Courageous? Let me just Google it. Evan Courageous. He's still alive. There you go. So we'll use him as an example. Like, he was fucking awesome, had a look. He got over with the fans and shit a little bit, but he's a fucking cruiserweight. Like, what are we talking about here, Dave?
If you really look at the roster that they had, and you look back today and look at that roster and go, it's unbelievable. And they did nothing with like 2/3 of those people.
No, they did everything. They just did. People didn't care about just being like having tag cruiserweight titles and cruiserweight title and fucking, you know, they were replicating WWE. They were trying to do their own version of TLCs and shit like that. Like, people just didn't care about their off-brand WWE light shit. That's exactly what AEW is doing right now. So Dave is literally like, oh, the depth of talent in WCW 2000 right before they collapsed was unreal. And then he's drawing the parallels to AEW. What a fucking dumbass. Like, Tone, this is the guy who advocates for your company. He's actively shitting. Like, he's so fucking stupid. He doesn't even know how bad he's making AEW look. Tony Khan. He's saying AEW has the most depth and they're focused on stories. Okay, their stories are WWE light. And it's just like, whatever. It's just mid, like, okay, Kenny's chasing but who gives a fuck? This should have already happened. And then Dave's saying, well, WCW 2000 had the most depth. And look, they went out of business and they weren't capitalizing with storylines and shit. Are you sure about that, buddy? They were going way out there with storylines. And it wasn't the best. And it felt very they're trying to be WWE after WWE pulled away. And then they collapsed. And now AEW, it feels like they're trying to kind of replicate what Cody Rhodes has going on with MJF, just more frequent title defenses. And I get it, Sami Zayn's the champ, but that's by proxy of everybody chasing Rhodes. And it's just like generic, basic shit you do in wrestling. And Dave's like, it's the greatest thing ever. And he doesn't see how it's exactly the same as WCW 2000. And he gets offended when you compare AEW to WCW 2000. He's just he lacks self-awareness. He lacks awareness in general. And he's so fucking stupid. This is your biggest cheerleader tone. Denounce this guy.
Like up and down, you go like, oh my God, Silver King, right? La Parka, the real L.A. Park, right? All these like freaking legendary wrestlers, Rey Mysterio, and
CWJ for 2 says talent equals drawing money. AEW has little true talent. And that's the thing. Talent physically and promo-wise, yes. Now, I don't like to bury the boys because a lot of it is the booking and the creative and like not filtering them. Like in WWE, if they just let all those wrestlers do whatever they wanted to, they'd just fuck around and not get any better. And the NIL guys wouldn't get better. And a bunch of them would mark out and do a bunch of mark shit too. Absolutely. But when you filter it, there's checks, there's balances. You're working with creative forces. You have people who want to see them succeed in their corner going, look, if you do well here, then you can fucking Hollywood's over here. Fucking this endorsement's over here. Fucking we're telling this story. Here's our plan. And at the end of the year, we see you here. Plans can change. We have this is big box office, this WrestleMania, da-da-da. Like, that's all it is. And it's just like actually filtering people's shit creative. And that's where Vince McMahon, I think, is a great filter for shit. Pause. But to put Vince over, like he had Russo throwing every shitty, crappy idea at him, and he would filter it out and get some of the good ones. And Vince Russo's like, bro, I invented Stone Cold Steve Austin, bro. Right? And you had Chris Jericho pitching his ideas to Vince, and Vince was able to filter them out with no filter, and Jericho just being able to do whatever he wants. Look at what he does in AEW. And then you look at fucking a guy like John Moxley, Dean Ambrose. Vince was filtering him. He didn't like it. You look back at Dean Ambrose, you're like, that guy was way cooler, way funnier, way more over, way more badass than Moxley thinks he is, because he has no filter. He's allowed to do what he wants. Whatever, I do what I want. So, yeah.
Chris Benoit.
Thanks for the 2. Sweet.
On Eddie Guerrero and Norman Smile. It's up and down that roster, right? This is the most depth I think I've seen from a company since then, but they do stuff with the undercard guys. It's like if Bandito was in WCW, right? Bandito would be one of like the 15 Mexican guys doing jobs all the time, right?
That's what he is in AEW. So he's Roosh in AEW, Dave? That's all he's saying.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
Well, Roosh is not Bandito. Are you sure? Because there's a lot of people, I think, who like to see Roosh wrestle more than Bandito, and that's no knock on fucking Bandito or Roosh. Again, I'm not trying to lower one to raise the other, but Dave is fucking... Oh, he'd just be one of the Mexican guys in the LWO. So like Hoovy and Super Crazy wasn't in WCW, but at least not in the LWO, I don't think. But so Juventud Guerrera, like what are you trying to say? So he's Roosh then in AEW? He's just one of the fucking luchas who does jobs? What are you even? So he's Hechicero then? Well, no, Hechicero had a banger with why? Because he gave him 15 minutes on TV. How over's Hechicero in America? You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, oh, one of the luchas who'd be doing a fucking job. Yeah, that's what's happening in AEW. That's a huge complaint from people who used to work there too, Dave. There's people who used to work there with the luchas in AEW who are like, Tone doesn't know how to book luchas and they're jobbers. Glorified jobbers. So it's literally the same thing. You're comparing AEW to WCW 2000 and just enlightening everybody how it's the same thing. Whoa, buddy.
And he does jobs here, but he does
Whoa, man. The irony.
Jobs in meaningful matches, and he's over like crazy, and
he does jobs in meaningful matches. Well, what does that matter? That's like saying, hey, Queen Aminata, she does jobs, but they're meaningful matches because in kayfabe, it's a number one contender. Okay, but you don't get it. She's just booked to fucking lose. She's just, you beat her, and then you, for some reason, get a number one contender match, even though she has 100 losses. So Bandito mostly loses a bunch of these key matches, is what, just from my recollection. Now, I know he had that tag title run, but I'm pretty sure Bandito takes a lot of fucking L's in these major matches other than ROH. If memory's serving correct, someone can fact check me, go check out Cage Match or whatever and look up his last few AEW matches. ROH, he gets wins. Okay, cool. He's, for some reason, relegated there, and Dave just called him an undercard guy. Meanwhile, WWE wanted to scoop Bandito up. He would be fucking AAA mega champion, dude. We'd be getting like Bandito versus Dom for the mega champion, and I'm not like blaming Bandito for taking the bag, but I'm just saying, like, they had plans for that motherfucker, and everybody thought Tone had plans for him too. He didn't. He doesn't. Just like WWE, look at how they blew up Penta. Everybody thought AEW was going to blow up Penta because he's a world champ in every fucking company he's been in. And people went, oh shit, finally a major platform for Penta to shine, not fucking Impact, but like a major United States platform. Nope. Fucking glorified tag guy. Doing fucking trading destroyers with Cassidy, phoning it in.
You know, like Dorada, right? You know, like Dorada would, you know, and
Dorada was in Lucha House Party, I think. So what are we talking
a lot
about?
in AEW, but he's over like crazy. It's not like
he's over like crazy in Mexico,
or not like crazy. I mean, he was tonight, but also we're in a heavily Hispanic city, so Mystico and Dorada were obviously going to be over. But it's like,
that's racist. Remember when Dave was like, you know, that WWE, the crowd in the UK, they were mostly new and mostly stupid and mostly minorities, Brian, and it's a real problem. This crowd was not good. And it's like, whoa, Dave, what are you fucking...
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
They do more. He literally said that, too, guys.
They do more, and, you know, with the roster, it's really...
They don't at all. It's crazy. Dave just like says things like this that aren't true, that we just can see with our own eyes aren't true. And so Dave Meltzer talks about his private meeting with Tone at the press conference. First, though, just more on the booking of AEW and the way Tone books things. Dave had this to say with Garrett, that the booking in AEW is both a blessing and a curse. And again, he just tries to justify, like, he can't ever criticize Tone. He gets on the cusp of it, but he just tries so hard to be like, no, it's all really good, even though this isn't good. And I'll tell you the reason why it isn't good. Any other reasons are invalid. And it's still actually good, though. And it's like, Dave, you can't have your cake and your cupcake and your pie and your ice cream and eat it too, you fucking Cartman.
The booking of AEW right now being a blessing and a curse. And you wrote, the blessing is most of the time in wrestling.
CM for 5 says, just remember AEW pillars change every year. Exactly. And this is what I'm talking about with the AEW uncertainty. Pillars as in like the foundations, as in like they're irreplaceable. The pillars, so they're not rotated in and out and they can't really be moved. And if one falls, the others have to hold up the weight, but the others are soon to follow. You mean like pillars? So now the pillars changed. Everything's just unsure and it's on rocky ground. Means they are built on a foundation of quicksand. You build your house on broken toys. Yeah, the problem with AEW, and I'll use this analogy, they tried to build the house from the roof to the fucking first. Instead of building the foundation, building it up, putting in windows, fucking, they started from the roof. They're like fucking tiling a roof, and then they're lifting the roof up and trying to fucking... Now they have to hold the roof up. They started where they peaked. Now it's just been downhill, and now they got to fucking work extra hard to like hold the roof in the air while a bunch of people fucking scramble to build a house underneath the roof. And it's just ass backwards, right? So
saying the most obvious path is the best path. The curse is that the most obvious path is also the most predictable.
It's the same thing it's the same thing I write every year when it comes to February and all the complaints of WWE leading into WrestleMania of like, oh, it's so predictable. And it's like, if you are building a big show, and you are building angles, people want these storylines for, like we want long storylines. If you want long storylines,
I'm actually with Dave on this, based Dave, because WWE fans are crying about this shit right fucking now.
God damn, it's predictable as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
it's not that it's predictable. Well, like on a technicality, yes, I get what Dave's saying. Like if it's 3 months out and like they've been building this story for a year, then you can safely predict what a match is going to be. And I agree with that. Like if storylines are cooking. Now, not all of it can be predictable. And that's a different predictable than, well, this story, the beats of this story are predictable. See, for instance, you go and watch a movie and you're like, oh shit, the rebels are taking on the fucking evil empire, right? And you can assume that like the fucking rebels are gonna take out Darth Vader and shit, or if not in this one, they'll get him in the sequel because we know more are coming, right? I guess Star Wars, they started with episode 4, so that means we're gonna get an episode 5 clearly. And we know if they don't win here, it's like Infinity War and Endgame, but mostly if you just take a movie or a show, there's going to be a fucking problem. They're going to resolve it by the end of it. And so what good storytellers do is they find ways to not be predictable while getting to the overall predictable outcome, but it's not predictable in that, well, I saw it coming, so it's not good. That's the beats to the story. Like, okay, well, I saw fucking Rhodes turning heel. I'm just making shit up right now. I saw that. I knew Rhodes was turning heel, so it just fell flat. I knew Ospreay and Swerve were going to have a 35-minute match doing the same fucking shit they do all the fucking time, and everyone was going to be burnt out and tired, and it was going to be close to midnight on the East Coast, and so it's just hard to give a shit. Like, that's predictable bad. And then Ospreay being in the finals of the Owen, that's predictable bad. We knew it was coming. Him being in the main event of All In Wembley and him winning the title, predictable bad because we see it a mile away and the beats to get there are not stunning. It's predictable as well, right? But if you take a storyline like, okay, we know it's going to be Roman, Cody Rhodes in the main event of 40, then The Rock comes in and makes it unpredictable. Oh, fuck. And then the beats of the story turn into Mama Rhodes and fuck that. Keep the cameras running. We keep the fuck your cameras. And you're, oh, shit. And then the Bloodline Rules match goes down in the fucking gong, and fucking Taker's there. Like that's where you take the predictable and the beats to the story, make it unpredictable. Right? So the two shall not be conflated. That's the point I'm making. And Dave will just try and like generalize it all for everything.
Storylines are.
And I am with him though. Like WWE fans are doing that. They're complaining. There's people who just want to be swerved. There's people who just want predictability. And then people who get mad when their predictable shit doesn't come true. And then there's people like myself, Fensit and Phil, who's kind of like, well, you need a good balance of both. Right?
Supposed to be leading you in a direction.
They're supposed to be leading you in a direction, and you're supposed to want that direction. If you want a whole bunch of stuff changing at the end, and
then he just calls WWE fans sheep, brainwash, the brainwashing of this company. That's what he says, his vernacular. But then he's sitting here explaining it. Well, if you want that, then this is what you want. Yeah, it's what the masses want. You watch the show House. I want to see him save a life and be a dick, right? It's fucking, that's what I want to see. Now, give me different ways of getting it, though. AEW doesn't do that, whereas WWE does do that. And when they don't do that, that's when people melt down.
You go in there and you go like, none of this made sense. Because believe me, any booker could just go in there and book like in a manner of, I'm going to fool my audience. And I'm going to do all this stuff, and none of it's going to make sense, but you're not going to be able to predict it. That's easy. Is that
Vince
effective?
Russo made a career out of that.
Tony can go and throw us a swerve. Okay, he could.
Bro, what did I do? Who is this Mark Gareth GG? I invented the Wrestling Observer, bro.
Throw us a swerve and have Swerve beat Will Ospreay. Okay, and none of us will see it coming because we all know Will Ospreay has to headline and win the title at Wembley. He could go in there and take us to Wembley, and he could have Kenny Omega or MJF beat Will Ospreay, and he could surprise us because we all know Will Ospreay should be winning the title at Wembley. And what good would that do? It would be like I'm gonna.
It might save the ratings because Ospreay's not a fucking draw and MJF is.
Take the storyline I've been building for months and months and months and lead everyone to this thing.
But it's not just like, oh, Jesus. So why is it good when Tone does this, but it's not good but it's brainwashing when WWE does this, Dave? So look at him fucking standing, brainwashing the sheep to fucking.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Wind up in the predictability land of fucking pro wrestling, but then it's bad when WWE does that and we're brainwashed low IQ.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
This is why so many people are turned off of Dave and AEW in general. Like it's just such a turnoff when you have to listen to these fucking tards say shit like this.
And I'm going to throw it out to swerve them. It's like, that's stupid. So yeah,
but not all the time. Not all the time. It's not all the time stupid to swerve someone. It's just everything. It's case by case.
Blessing and a curse, and it's a blessing that we can see these storylines building.
And he's also just coping because I called him out about him. So I pointed this out, and Dave realized this, and he struck my fucking channel. So whatever you guys want to say about me just fucking patting myself on the back here, I don't give a fuck. He stooged what the story was that not the story, pardon me, but the series of events. Like Kenny Omega's going to win in Redemption in Canada, and then he faces Ospreay, rubber match, all in, which it still could be that. Right? Like Kenny could get fucked over in this match on Dynamite and then get his full redemption arc come to a head at Redemption, the pay-per-view in Canada. It could still go this way. But in a minute, we're going to talk about how Tone switched the booking up, and Dave's like, I can't believe it. And I don't believe him. He's lying and like acting and running cover for Tone because they all had a meeting. They're like, fuck, Phil Marks figured it out. And I didn't mean to stooge Tone. I'm so sorry. I know that's what it is because it's just the hack pattern booking of fucking Darby won in his hometown, MJF won it back in his hometown, and then Kenny's going to win it in his home country, and then Ospreay wins in his home country, home region, homeland, whatever, right? That's exactly what Tone was going to do, and that's what I think he'll still do. And I think at Redemption, we could see some multi-man fucking match, like a 3-way, a 4-way, something like that, and then Kenny wins that way, and then it's Kenny versus Ospreay anyways. But Dave stooged it. He laid it out. He also laid out the 3-way tag match at Wembley, and everyone's like, well, how do we even know that's what they're doing? And Dave's like, well, I just assumed. And then now FTR's like, we're taking a break, but they're booked to wrestle guys in the UK the night before the Wembley show. So what did Tone do? I have nothing for it. This is all course correction because Dave stooged it all. I promise you this. And Dave is smitten by Tone, as we've covered too. He's smitten by Tone. It's not the other way around. Tone does like the approval of Daddy Dave, but also Tone is the dom in that situation, right? Like Dave's the bottom. He likes to fucking take it in their relationship. And so he's playing confused. He's acting like it's confused. It's a curse and a blessing, the booking. And they're running cover because Dave stooged it all. So then they're like, oh, fuck, quickly, FTR, you're taking a break again. And yeah, we're going to do Kenny MJF on this show so that all the people who are calling it out, like Phil S. Marks saying, oh, it's stooged. They're not correct, or we're gonna swerve people and take them in another direction. And again, Dave just wants predictable, easy to digest, dumb shit, and then that's why he also gets triggered by Kenny's match with MJF being fucking announced for earlier than the Redemption pay-per-view. 100%. That's what's happening.
It's a curse that we can see the storyline building, and we know kind of what the smart thing to do to get to the destination is.
And no, it's not a curse. Just tell good stories in between
AEW
in
right
between then and now. We all wanted Cody Rhodes Roman to end their fucking trilogy. We wanted it at Mania 40. We got it. What do you do in the match and what do you do in between to get us there? It's the most predictable shit ever, Rhodes versus Roman at that WrestleMania. And it was like the biggest, one of the best WrestleManias in history was 40. And the build to it was one of the best ever. So, again, Dave, you're spurging out, and it's good for AEW. Good for me, not for thee. And we talked about it enough, so let's go over it now. Here's him talking about MJF and Kenny Omega and how the date of the match got switched up from what he thought, and now Bryan's all like, we know it was supposed to be this day.
Bryan.
It's like, shut up, Bryan.
Starting off with
starting off, we got to talk about this next Wednesday show. What's the deal with the Omega match being on the show next Wednesday? And Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, which should both be like major pay-per-view matches. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, what's with it?
All I know is they decided to move the MJF Kenny Omega match up. I have no idea why.
I have no idea why either.
They did.
Look at Dave. I have no idea why either. No, you fucking know. You got a private lap dance from Tone after the fucking Forbidden Door.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it. So they have a pay-per-view called Redemption, but the Redemption match is next Wednesday.
Yes.
This
was apparent.
See, he wanted to go, that is dumb as fuck. He wanted to go, play a fucking flute, Bryan. That's stupid as shit. That's what Dave wanted to say. But he fucking can't. He's just confused. Oh, shit.
At least something that was decided very recently.
Okay.
Clearly. Because it's a Canadian show called Redemption.
Yeah.
And that was going to be the match. And then somebody
just... What Redemption? Like, why even call it Redemption? And it's a Canadian show. Guess what? Kenny Omega's from Winnipeg. People in Quebec spit at people from fucking Manitoba and Saskatchewan. They think they're fucking hillbillies.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
They don't give a fuck about that. This is the thing. It's just because you're from Canada, it doesn't really mean shit. But, like, it kind of does. Like, we'll show out for fucking... Like, if you're Natty Neidhart, you pull up in Toronto, we'll show you your fucking respect or whatever, wherever you are in Canada. But it's Ivana the Yukon, right? But it's like, they don't give a fuck. But also, Kenny could lose this because of some schmozzery and then get another shot at redemption still. And I feel like Dave's trying to play it off. I don't even know if I believe him here. Maybe I do, because he looked dumbfounded. Like, he wanted to say some shit, but he like bit his tongue.
Decided, well, we're gonna do it next week.
I mean, I don't know, but it feels to me like there's something going on regarding...
If he didn't know, he would just say it. When he doesn't know shit, he just says shit, you know? But notice with fucking AEW, he's like, I mean, I don't know. He did that with the FTR thing too. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know. I mean, I don't know this. I mean, I don't know this, but there has to be something clever to the booking. He's got to get the booking over, even though it's terrible. And even though Bryan can't make sense of it. Even though, again, if you guys want nuanced storylines, here you go. Kenny fucking loses. Then it's a 3-way Kenny, Andrade, MJF at fucking Redemption. And then that's when we get Kenny pins Andrade or some shit. And then Kenny goes to All In or whatever. And then MJF wants to beef out Andrade for losing his title. And then it's Andrade versus MJF at All In or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is how we make it. This is how we do it. Sha-na-na-na-na-na, Bryan. Sha-la-la-la-la, Bryan. So this is how you like mix it up a little bit and throw a monkey wrench that's going to ruin your plans. And don't fuck with John Cena. He's a bad, bad man. But for real, like this is how you fucking switch it up and make the story more interesting.
It feels to me like there's something going on regarding like a real, I mean, like they're not going to, I mean, it'd be very, very difficult to get a good rating against a soccer game today. And they know it, even though, and they put the MJF match on, which I would have thought, you know, save it for the next week.
No, Dave, no one cares what you think, Dave. Let Tone book how he's going to fucking book. Don't like back down from doing a world title shot if the story calls for it just because there's some other shit on.
No, rather than this week, but for whatever reason, they must feel a need to get a big rating next Wednesday.
No, they feel a big need. Where do we need to bring up Niccolo Piccolo's tweets again, buddy? Yeah, they have felt like they need to get a big rating a year ago. Okay, that's when they should have fucking got a big rating. A year ago, 2 years ago, they should have felt the need to get a big rating.
Throwing like everything against the wall, you know. I mean, like
they're not throwing everything against the wall either. Now I'm defending Tone. It's just one match. Like MJF has title matches every week. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, those are two big matches. But I mean,
the pay-per-views are throwing everything at the wall.
You know, I mean, Takeshita and Fletcher's are like, I thought Takeshita and Fletcher would be like Wembley Stadium.
Oh my God.
No, that's for the international title.
Yeah.
MJF and Kenny for the world title, where if Kenny loses, he can never challenge again. So clearly he's winning.
See, Bry's just like, well, now, Dave, that's for the international title.
Bryan.
We're not there yet, Dave. Let me format this fucking show.
Okay, yeah. So I wonder so maybe they do a rematch at Redemption?
See, he's laying it out, and Brian's laughing because what I laid out, Dave knows that's what it is, but I see through your bullshit. You guys are paper fucking thin, transparent motherfuckers, and Phil Marks always calls you the fuck out, and I got the flutes. They give me superpowers. Rap 375,000 hours. I must have superpowers. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, fuck out of here, Dave. You know what's happening. Bry laughs because he's like, you just did it again. That's why Bry laughed here. Look, he's like, you just did it again, Dave. Oops, I, did it again to your heart, Brian. Got lost in this wicked game of booking pro wrestling, Tona.
Again, so clearly he's winning.
Okay, yeah. So I wonder so maybe they do a rematch at Redemption?
He just
so
did
MJF
it
can
again.
get his redemption in Canada on Kenny Omega?
I don't know.
I mean, you could.
So they're sitting here just saying Kenny's going to win the title. Like, look at, so Brian's like, huh. And this is why I can't stand Bryan. He's just a schmarmy piece of shit. That fucking fake smile on his face going, ugh. So they could do the Kenny gets, MJF gets redemption on Kenny at fucking. So now you're just stooging that what Kenny's going to win the title. Why does Kenny need to win the title here? So it's just a foregone conclusion. Kenny's winning the title no matter what. Like, what are they trying to say? These guys are so bad. Tone, you need to bar and excommunicate these guys from your company. You need to sue them anytime they even speak about you.
I'm trying to figure this out.
It
all just happened tonight, so I'm kind of like not having figured a lot of this stuff out right now.
And just that fake look on his face, like, we know you know that.
Starting off,
and him and Bry are chuckling because he just stooged it again. He just did what he did before, why they had to change it in the first place. So here's Dave now fawning over the booking of the world title scene in AEW, which is just multiple challengers. Okay, so WWE classic booking that's worked 100 million times over and over again. And this is just elementary. Like, this is just goes without saying there should be multiple people lining up for a title shot. Right? So what do you do on top of that is what matters. But Dave is just infatuated and blown away, smitten by the fact that there's just multiple challengers for MJF's title. Yeah.
the booking of the world title.
And it's not the booking, by the way. Like, this is the writing. The booking of the world title. No, the booking is like, here's what's on tonight's show. You mean like the writing of the fucking storyline that's going on. But Dave conflates the two. The booking. Words matter, Dave. I know you just love to abuse them. Words fucking matter.
And AEW has been really good. I like the idea of multiple challengers with multiple different motives. It's not babyface heel. It's, you know, it's just different people with different motives. The whole Ospreay Death Riders thing, you know, he's in, but we all know that at some point.
That's the worst story ever. Nobody cares. Nobody likes Moxley. It's a fucking dumb story. Why is Ospreay such a pussy? Signed to millions of dollars. I'm the best in the world, bruv. You need to team up with Moxley to beat people? That's the worst booked shit of all time. It's the worst booked shit of all time. Kevin Knight stood on his own 2 feet more than Ospreay. And then him and Moxley are just like bruvs, hugging it out and fucking, yeah, I cheer you on, even though I fucking was suffocating people with plastic bags over their heads, and now we're just good guys with no explanation.
Ospreay's wrestling Moxley, whether it's before or after he wins the title, if he wins the title, which he
and then C's just stooging it, and then obviously Moxley's gonna wrestle Ospreay. Then why watch the show, Dave? Why watch the show? You're just gonna fucking tell everybody what the show is.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Then why should anybody watch it? Meanwhile, you get everything wrong about WWE. Everything. Because Terry Taylor stooges you what they erase off the whiteboards that day, and then you're just wrong about everything. And then you go, well, back then I was right a year ago, Brian.
We should. If he doesn't win the title, man, I don't know. That would shock me.
He like, honestly, Will Ospreay shouldn't win the title because it's not going to be good for ratings. MJF is good for ratings. And Kenny, I would say him and Joe, maybe, if they're in the mix. But he shouldn't win it, but he should, because you got to try and make him into a star, which they failed to do. But there's no heat behind fucking Ospreay being the next big thing. Which is what they should, like, think about Obafemi. They're turning him into the next big thing. Ospreay, it doesn't feel like he's the next big thing. He's just another trainee, interchangeable fucking flip guy. And another goober in Moxley's group.
Talking about it, Wembley.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Of course he's winning the title.
He better win the title.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, hey, I thought Kenny was winning it in Montreal, not in Clearwater, Florida.
Well, he's still winning it.
And see, they're just going, he's still winning it. Why would you tune into this shit if you're a fucking
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
Why would you tune into Dynamite if he just tells you everything? This is like when Eric Bischoff was like, yeah, and Cactus Jack is going to win the title. And then everybody's like, what? Mick Foley? Then they all go over to Raw and watch.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
Why the fuck would you even watch AEW? What's the purpose?
He better win it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the way they're just like, Keddy's winning it. How do you know? How do you know they don't just do some fuck shit? So what I think these guys are doing is they know what they were told by Tone. Listen, you stooged it. You fucked up. I need you now to pretend like for sure Kenny's going to win on Dynamite so that I can rebook a match, maybe a multi-man match at Redemption where Kenny will win it. But I need you to trick everybody into thinking like he's going to win it in Florida so that you can then pretend and act shocked. Like, or are they just coping? Chat, is it like, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Are they briefed or are they coping?
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard.
there's, I wonder what the situation with Max. And they sure emphasize Hangman, don't they?
Yeah, he's back soon.
Yeah,
he is back soon.
Well, he's got to be back for Wembley.
Look at how bored they sound. Yeah, Hangman, he's back soon. He's back soon. Lasai. He's back soon. They just sound so bored. Like, why would anybody buy into this shit?
Gotta be.
Why would anybody care to watch it? I just don't understand, man. These guys just heard AEW. And so here is Dave just glazing Kenny Omega like he did back in the day. And he says some of the things I was saying about like Lyra Valkyria. He's saying about Kenny Omega right here.
This Kenny Omega obviously is different from the Kenny Omega from 5 years ago. But this Kenny Omega, he does little things and like selling the arm and just like that like he's really like on a different level at certain things than anyone in this business now. I mean, it's very Terry Funk, you know, where the selling is.
He's a wrestling. Dave is considered a wrestling historian, and he will sit there and cater to sycophants like Paul Walter Hauser, who says no one will remember Nick Bockwinkel, and fucking now he's comparing Kenny Omega to Terry Funk and shit. Like, it's very much like Terry Funk, how in between he would sell, and now selling matters. Meanwhile, Kenny has like kind of goofy selling, but he does sell, but it's kind of over the top Ultimate Warrior-ish, like goofy selling. And I think it could work in WWE, honestly. But again, like now selling matters all of a sudden.
It's not, it's just a different kind of selling that everyone else does. Like there's like the way he was selling that arm was, you know, just like these little things that he would always go back to, you know, like squeezing the hand to get the circulation back or to see if he's got feeling. And, you know, the depth of the
every wrestler does that.
Selling was.
No, I'm joking. Obviously, a bunch don't, but
you know, it's like I always.
His new favorite word is depth. The depth of the roster, Brian. The depth of the selling. The depth of the deal. It's like his new word. The depth of the selling. So selling's better. It puts people on another level. So I was right. This whole fucking
just
time.
in from Phil Marks of PWT. He says, I told you so.
Consider like Ishii selling it'd be great because of the timing, but his selling, the detail of his selling is just incredible. And Zach, man, the guy, you know, he's Zack Sabre and Kenny Omega's Kenny Omega. And yeah, this was just a classic match of two completely different styles. And this is like old wrestling, you know. I mean, it's like Kenny Omega, we presume, is going to
it's like old wrestling. It's not
wrestle for the championship against MJF in Montreal. That is the presumption. And
why is that the presumption too? It wasn't the presumption until Dave laid it out, and he laid it out that way because Tony texted him some shit. Why isn't the presumption it'll be Andrade? Well, because it's the hometown. Yeah, but it's in Canada, so that doesn't matter. That literally does not matter. So why is Tone always doing the predictable? So the last few championship moves is fucking, and the future ones planned is fucking Darby wins in Seattle, MJF wins in New York, Kenny wins in Canada, and then Ospreay wins in the UK. Now that's predictable, Dave, and not in the good way.
And that is what I would. And he got a win over someone who the crowd saw as a really big international star, and he is. And it's kind of like, that's like old school of building a contender. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of been forgotten.
No, the old school of building a contender, Dave, is also like beating people and shit, which Kenny has done. But like Kenny's always a contender. Okay. So I just don't know what's old school about it. He's always been a contender in AEW because he was built up in New Japan, and Tone just took all the New Japan guys over the last 5 fucking years. 7 years, I guess, if you want to count Kenny and shit and the Bucks and everyone. And so, like, he's always a contender. And I don't know why the selling's old school and the matches are old school. He's trying to convince people that AEW's like old school wrestling. And it's like you're just trying to convince yourself.
Where's the guy that has papers everywhere in his room?
And so now Dave talks about his time at Forbidden Door. And we actually have a little behind the scenes cut here. And again, him and his friends showed up. I'll be there for Nuge when the rain starts to fall. Down, down, and down, 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 Tony Khan. Right? And so here's Dave behind the scenes. This dude here, POV, asking Tony Khan where the next All In the USA is going to be. And then you can just see Dave sitting like smitten by Tone.
There's a lot of talk about Wembley and All In.
And he's got a smile on his face. Go and get him, kid. Oh, no, it's one of those people. Look, Bryan, it's Cuervo.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
I mean, these minorities are kind of new fans, I think. They're not very smart, though, Bryan. And I mean, you can pretend rappers are cool, but there's too many of them. When Cuervo comes out once and then that other guy comes out. Dave, that was also Cuervo.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
All in London and Texas last year. And my question is, I think All In is a spectacle that every single wrestling fan should get to witness with their own eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's different when you're there. So since it's in London, going back to London this year, we've only had 2 in the States. I feel like the next time you bring it back, what will be a hot spot? You know, what's going to be the next London, the All In the States?
There isn't one, buddy. Like, why waste your time? And shout out MAR Wrestling. I'm not trying to hate, but like, why even waste your fucking time asking a question? And why glaze? You know, it's a spectacle that everybody should see, and I want everybody to see this. Motherfucker, you don't even need to say that. Just say, what's the next All In fucking Texas or in the United States? You know it's going to be in Texas because there's so many people there. That's the fucking problem. Okay? And they did 18,000 people according to Thurston. That's Thurston's numbers, dude. It was like 18,000 if you count all the comps or whatever. The turnstile was like, or it was like 19,000 or something like that. So Raw does that at MSG for a house show with Dirty Dom and CM Punk on it. So, like, why are you even asking it this way? It's a spectacle everybody should see. Okay, just do it in New York. Who gives a fuck? Doesn't matter where you go for it. It's not going to shift economies. At Wembley, they've moved like 25K tickets. They don't need to go to well, maybe they do need to go to Wembley to do 25K, let alone whatever the fuck you're talking about.
That's a great question. I think there's a lot of great places that could be great destinations in the United States or North America. I think that's a great place. That would be a great place to do it. That'd be a great destination for a major event. Absolutely. No, it's a great thought for sure.
And there's nobody there. You can't tell me this isn't hand selected. You can't tell me Renee Paquette isn't cringed out. The whole front row's empty. Dave's sitting in the front row intently, like the teacher's fucking pet. And we went over the video of him asking Tony Khan about like the WWE announcement or whatever. And we went over that on PWT live show when we were making fun of Tone. But Dave was like, did you hear about the announcement? Well, you know, he was just smitten by billionaire Tone. And so Dave and the F4W FGM crew got a private media scrum in the private room, in the back room with Tone Khan after the actual media scrum had concluded. And I'm just telling you right now, man, this is not good. Like, what was Tone telling them? Oh, check out my Inoki scarf. This is not good.
But we did get our own little personal scrum at the end there. As we were leaving, Dave, I think Tony kind of flagged Dave down, and Dave ran out.
No. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're helpless. They're helpless and hopeless. And we're supposed to believe Dave isn't a shill, and Tone didn't say, look, now quickly, I need you guys to pretend that Kenny's not going to win a redemption and that he's going to win. And then it'll get hype, and then the viewership will pop a rating, and then MJF will actually defend, and then you can go, oh, the match was spectacular, and they swerved us, and there's going to be the rematch at redemption anyways, which is the way to go. That's what happened, guys. Oh my God. Put these people in prison. We have to separate the fucking government from the media. This is some North Korea shit. Lock them up.
We're like, where's Dave going? And then he came back. He's like, yeah, come over here. And Tony's like, yeah.
He's all disheveled. He gets ravaged in the closet. Well, Antonio, wherefore art thou, Tonio? And Brian's out there. Can we bring Garrett? He's my side piece. I actually left Brian at home. He's no fun. He's always nagging, you know? But life's better when I get to see you, Tone. The best guy.
Wherever his office was for the night, because it was in a building. And we just got to shoot the stuff with him for like 20 minutes. And I think most people can tell he's just a very good-natured person.
Very likable.
So that means I have to shill for your wrestling company?
On a one-to-one basis, just genuinely interested.
Everyone's on a one-to-one basis, just generously, a really good guy. Just generously, it's like a really good guy. I'm sure he is. Okay? I'm sure he's I'm sure he's the best guy. But like, that doesn't mean people need to shill for, and I know they're not saying that, but that's sort of
the best guy is Tony Khan.
You and what you're about, and I can
what
see
you're about. Who's this guy? Who's this fucking jabroni? Jesus.
The talent likes him so much.
You told him about the Jay White thing that you had picked up, and I think he kind of dug it that you picked it up. I was almost gonna say,
oh my God! So Tone marks out. Listen to what he just said. This is offensive.
Jay White thing that you had
listen to this. They're marking out that Tone marked out that these marks leaked the fucking Jay White is going to be showing up at the fucking pay-per-view, spoiling their shit. Fuck, man. Fucking mark. Oh, this is why it's helpless. Tone, you're giddy that these chuckle fucks are giddy to leak your stories, and then you mark out, and then now these marks are marking out about you marking out over them leaking your shit like a fucking mark. We're cooked. Oh, wow. It's finished. It's finished. It's finished, man. Fuck.
So much.
You told him about the Jay White thing that you had picked up, and I think he kind of dug it that you picked it up.
Wasn't Dave crying about separation of church and state? I see somebody said in chat there, went by. Yeah, exactly. Now he's fucking having backrooms meetings where they're laying out booking and Tone's marking out over their dirt sheet reporting. I mean, what?
Retard alert! Retard alert, class!
It's just like, come on now.
I was almost gonna say this guy does a New Japan podcast, but I didn't want to embarrass you.
Whatever.
And then.
And shout you out for that comment, whoever commented that.
I said, I jokingly said, is David Ellison really a wrestling fan? And he's like, I think he is. Like, he's the same age as me. And so, we're talking attitude.
So Tone doesn't even know. So Tone's like, Ellison's a wrestling fan and we're really good friends. And Ellison's like, what? Who's this random guy talking about me and shit? No, I'm sure he knows who Tone is, but it's like, now Garrett's blowing up his spot. And Tone is just like, yeah, I think he was back in the day, like Attitude Era stuff. Then why would he fuck with you? So even further proof he's going to fuck with WWE over you. And just because he's a wrestling fan doesn't make he's an uber mark. Hey, most people who watched like the Attitude Era when they were a kid and then now they watch wrestling, they go, oh, yeah, I watch WWE. Are you watching WWE? Like they don't know wrestling other than there was this other YouTuber I saw the other day and he was ranting about pro wrestling and he was showing clips. I forget his name and he gets tons of views. Really big YouTube channel. And he was showing clips of pro wrestling. And the video, I think, was just more about pro wrestling in general. And there was a bunch of AEW clips in there and like old WCW clips. And he just referred to it all as WWE the whole time. And it's like people with MMA, mixed martial arts. You go, oh, you do UFC? That's what people would say. Oh, I train UFC. If anybody says that to you, like it's MMA. Anybody who trains anything knows that they're mixed martial arts, right? So it's not fucking, you don't train Ultimate Fighting Championship. That's the name of the fucking league, right? And of course, there's a lot of fighters who have to go, yeah, like I fight in the UFC. That's what they say. You know, some of them have to go, oh, you know, who aren't in the UFC. They go, you know, UFC. Well, like I do that, but just not in the UFC. You know, that's how they have to explain it. But again, people just refer to wrestling as like WWE. They don't. He's not going to give a fuck, just even if he's a wrestling fan. He's not an uber sicko like fucking Tone is. He's a wrestling fan the way Steven Spielberg is. Oh, I mean, I watched that shit many years ago when it was popular. Now I just put it in my movie and I'm going to lie to you to be nice on set and say, hey, I might come to a show, but I'm never going to show up.
Attitude Era stuff or when he's a little kid. I don't know if that means he's actively a wrestling fan, but he does understand kind of wrestling from his teenage and early adult years, I'm sure. But you know, I don't know David. I know David Ellison. I know enough about that Hollywood kind of business stuff to know a decent amount about him. I just know his dad a little bit more because his dad is like an icon in the Bay Area because of Oracle. So I know so much more about his dad. And it's just kind of crazy to me that I jokingly in our Discord call him Baby Ellison because he's a young dude, but he's not that young. He's, you know, he's in his early 40s, but his dad is like 80 something. Damn, Larry Ellison is that old. That's crazy.
And he's sitting there like, what, you're marking out? It's cool to talk to Tone, who lies about him, Ellison being a wrestling fan. So you don't even know if Tone knows him like that. And he could just be lying about even really knowing Ellison like that. Oh, it's kind of cool to, you know, meet Tone, who knows David Ellison, Larry Ellison's son, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, you fucking J-Brones. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit, man. These guys are super uber duber marks. You know what I mean? So speaking of Tone and the relationship with Ellison and all of that, here's Dave's assessment again after meeting. So again, Garrett just stooged. And there's a reason why I brought us through this segment the way I did, okay? Garrett just fucking stooged that like, hey, we had a private meeting and Dave waved us over and I brought up Ellison jokingly and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of cool. I met a guy who talked about Ellison to me, whatever. So now here's Dave saying Tony Khan is a lot happier with the WBD deal and how it went to Paramount instead of Netflix.
He is a lot happier.
So he clearly expressed this to him. Person to person. I'm way happier. Yeah, because I don't really have politics with Netflix like that. I know the Ellisons. That's fine and dandy. I just don't think any of that fucking matters at the end of the day. I think it's too little too late.
That the WB deal went the way it was. I think that there absolutely was concern for a bunch of reasons about if Netflix got it. It's weird because it's like it could. I mean, it doesn't matter. It didn't go that way, but there was concern in the sense of Netflix was going to keep HBO Max different, so it wouldn't be like they'd have to go on Netflix on the same streaming service as WWE.
So right there, Dave, so the concern for AEW, because they care about their numbers, is that if it went to Netflix, AEW would just stay on this HBO Max. Way more people watch Netflix. And why would you worry about it if you're beating Raw on Netflix? You're a dumbass. He's a dumbass. I have to play another flute. He's a dumbass motherfucker. I don't know what to say. Dave just fucking stooges himself out there. Like, why would it be a concern? Because you'd have to stay on Max, okay? But I thought they're beating Raw that is on Netflix. So why would you even care if you had to stay on Max and WWE would get the major Netflix platform? Because if AEW was on Netflix, Dave would be having a fucking powwow. He'd be doing a fucking rain dance. It's a rain and tones. Bryan, it's rain and tones.
But it would still be a company that has business with WWE. And
like, how many times do I got to do this, run laps around Dave like this before he gets it through his fucking head?
Not necessarily.
He needs to shut up.
Not necessarily a wrestling fan heading the company. And then also you've got the split because the TV stations would be separate.
So Tone just is like, if it's a wrestling fan, it's good. It's good for me because then they can see my wrestling show and then they go, oh, this is pretty crazy wrestling. And I go, isn't this the best wrestling in the world? And I can trick them because I had friends who worked for WBD and they all fucked that company up. And Zaslav, people can say what they want. People cope when I say this, but Zaslav, and I'm not trying to diminish him either. Like, I wish I could fucking fail upwards the way he did. But a lot of people are like, he fucked a lot of stuff up in WBD. He kept it alive. They had to bring him back. That's fine. But look at the payouts. They had to go, we can't be paying people this type of shit and all of these sorts of things. He just made big baller moves and worked himself into getting money like Tone did. Like what was happening at WBD. They had to downsize everything. Warner Bros. Had to fucking downsize everything. Everything they fucking did has been downsized greatly, and now they're fucking merging with Paramount. Zaslav's so great. He kept it all alive. Like, come on, man. There's a reason why Zaslav dealt with One Bill Phil, CM Punk, and called him One Bill Phil and gave him his own. Yep, we're going to give him his own fucking show. There's a reason that went down because that's a money baller fucking move. And that was to fucking try and salvage this bullshit they were involved in. Okay? Once that went awry, where's Zaslav? You don't hear fucking Tone talking about Zaslav and shit. You know what I mean? You don't hear fucking Tone, but he's all, oh, Ellison's great. You know what I mean?
So they would have TV and streaming with two different companies, which could be a good thing, but also could be not so good of a thing because if your TV numbers are down because of streaming with this company that you're going to be in and this company that you're in right now, it doesn't matter. They're still getting the viewers and it's fine. Like if it's, let's just say you're getting 700,000 on TV.
See, that's why we give 700,000 because we just play with Dave's own math and then we fucking felt him with his own work. That's all you got to do, guys.
And let's just say you're getting 500,000 on streaming. And then all of a sudden you go to 400,000 on TV, but they all move to streaming.
Right. So prove that happened anywhere, asshole. Or with AEW, you can't. And not only that, with WWE, there's the only way you can watch Raw is on Netflix. Right. But to think that WWE left, or Raw at least, left regular network USA on Monday, and then 100% of those people translate to the new Netflix. There's 100% chance that some people, and I don't even want to fathom a guess because it could, I don't know, right? That's where someone would have to come in and break down numbers and shit. and estimates and shit that I don't trust Dave to do, but I'm openly, I don't know either. But it's not 100% of the people will translate. That's the point I'm getting at. So for sure, when HBO goes with Paramount, you're not going to keep 100% of the people who are watching, especially with them pushing my AEW, and then they roll it out in the USA eventually. You're 100% not going to get everybody staying with Max once they find out, oh, it's becoming Paramount now? Fuck this. I don't support. You're going to get some people. Is that one person, 10 people, 100? I don't fucking know. But some people, you can safely say that. And when you move them off TV to streaming, like let's say AEW just gets moved from TV to Paramount Plus. Like Dave is hoping happens so he can just make up the ratings. You're not going to convert all of those people. And all of the people who stopped, like the 1.2 million people who used to watch Dynamite, for certainly 100% of them who stopped watching didn't all just go to Max because of streaming. And for certainly when we see Forbidden Door is 61% trending less than last year viewership-wise on YouTube and Google Trends, which almost correlate 1-to-1, which we broke down on PWT Live Show every Wednesday and Saturday night on YouTube. We broke that down. For surely out of that 61%, 100% of that 61% also aren't just watching AEW and buying it elsewhere. Like for sure, some people just fell off. And that's why I'm 60% of the time it works 100% of the time. But that's why I'm saying the same thing for WWE. Like, yes, them moving off of USA, you can't even safely say that, like, oh, for surely 100% of the people that watched on there all are now on Netflix watching. You can't even safely say that. So Dave, I get what he's trying to be like, oh, if you get the viewership, though, it doesn't matter. But it's just like, we don't know what the max, if it's what some people think it is, like under 100,000, no one cares. It's peanuts.
You're fine if they do this. If they do a split, all of a sudden.
And also, like Dave talks about the UFC, it's cheaper than the UFC, bro. No, like the UFC pays the fighters peanuts, and they fight out of the Apex and shit. Tone is going to these half-empty buildings and paying Moxley $3 million a year to stab people with fucking forks and chopsticks.
And it's like that 400,000 is not really, it's not really that valuable. So that was that. But I would go so far as to say that when it comes to,
and of course there's going to be diehards who get whatever Tone tells you to watch AW on. There's going to be diehards who go and watch who only got Netflix because Raw went there. Absolutely. And especially if you're in Canada, you're like international, all of WWE is just on Netflix, bro. That's worth the Netflix, in my opinion. Like if they had the WWE network, I'd fucking just pay for that again. Like that's worth the money every month. Right. And it frequently is in the top 10. And in Canada, every WWE show, NXT, SmackDown, Raw, are all in the top 10 every week, alongside all the biggest shows. It easily could have got swallowed up by a bunch of the shit they drop on Netflix. And it fucking doesn't. It doesn't.
Deal. He can't wait. Okay. I think that's probably.
And he's like, he can't wait for it. Well, he's a fool. So Tony's judgment isn't always the best. So his judgment on who to be EVPs wasn't the best. Objectively. They fucking were fist fighting talent. His vision on like sending Jack Perry to Collision and just trying to keep everyone separate instead of in the same place, and him choosing to go after Undertaker and John Cena and WWE and Coca-Cola for some reason, and Harvey Weinstein, bringing up the Weinstein and the bald assholes, and then now even Tone walks that back. Well, Jesus Christ wouldn't do that. Right. And he walks that back. I'm not going to talk shit anymore. That's what Tone says. So he's just his booking. Even Dave, you're questioning his booking right now. His business sense, showing up to the NFL draft in the fucking neck brace. All of these things sort of show that Tone kind of lacks self-awareness and has poor judgment. Like, look at the way he conducts himself in interviews, looking like he's Adderalled up. And he's like Mark Zuckerberg. Like, these are all guys who he's like Elon Musk. Like, we clown these guys for being fucking dorks who come off awkward as fuck. And they're these fucking tech billionaire, fucking Tone's a patent billionaire, son of a patent billionaire. You know what I mean? And he does statistics or something, I think, before this, right? For the NFL. It's like his judgment of like what constitutes a friend. Do you see the way Tone hugs everybody deeply? And he doesn't do it as much because he got clowned, and people like Samoa Joe were like, I don't hug Tone. And like, it made everybody very awkward. Like Okada, he would hug all these wrestlers, pulling in Ruby Soho for an awkward hug. Meanwhile, Io Sky runs and leaps into Triple H's arms on her own accord, and that's like somehow a bad thing. But fucking, you know, like a daughter who's like happy to see her dad leaps into Triple H's arms, everyone melts down. Tone's like pulling Ruby Soho in for awkward hugs, and she has to be like, yeah, I'm fine. It's on camera. They put it on their reality show. I'm not making this shit up. And that's not a big deal. Maybe Tone isn't the best judge of who his friends are. If he thinks because he signs these wrestlers to big ass deals, he can just embrace them like they're his fucking Teddy Ruxpin. Have you ever thought of that he lacks a bit of awareness, Dave? And what constitutes a friend? Larry Ellison's like, yeah, I'll see you later, kid. And he's like, that's my friend. I'm glad they're going there instead of Netflix. But I thought Netflix is doom and gloom with WWE, and AEW's beating Raw in the ratings. And so why wouldn't he be pumped to go to Netflix, the bigger platform where they will surely kick WWE Raw's ass, and WWE can fuck off to Paramount? Again, Dave's own logic doesn't add up, and these are a bunch of fucking these are kindergartners like thinking they know everything about the world in this fucking like grandiose business world they're in, where they don't even really understand what's going on. They're like cosplaying something that they're not. It's really kind of sad.
Probably the nicest way of putting it.
I'm fucking cooking tonight. Let's get some fucking support, chat. Hit that like, hit that retweet, hit that heart. Give it 5 Meltzer stars. Become a member. Super chat in. Patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. Let's fucking go. Okay, so now speaking of WWE, we're going to get more into WWE stuff. Dave's coverage of WWE as of late, and Bryan melting down over CM Punk again, like they do. I'm going to play a flute. Let's rip a flute. And so we have two little pieces here that to transition, you know, AEW versus WWE. We've been comparing them a lot, and this whole evening has been about talking about like what Paramount would benefit from essentially, and comparing. Dave's been doing a lot of comparing of the two. And so leaning more in the WWE direction, Dave Meltzer had this to say, that WWE's way down and AEW's never been higher practically, especially if you throw in the fact they're on Max. But meanwhile, Tone himself is worried about being on fucking Max when it merges with Paramount, as opposed to going to Netflix.
You know, the young superstar, you know, babyface, you know, the former heel thing. So
it just doesn't even make sense.
That, you know, people have tried to explain, but never really have done well. That wrestling got caught in the crossfire and got hammered really bad. And, you know, we've had several changes, but the, you know, the panel numbers are still there. So, I mean, I know the numbers, you know, printed them up in there in the Observer, you know, of what these numbers are compared to how the numbers were tabulated from the beginning of time until September 2025.
From the prehistoric times, Bryan, all the way back, days of future past, Bryan. The new X-Men 97. I need to watch that show, Bryan.
And, you know, people will look at these numbers and go, oh my God, wrestling's had a terrible year. It's dropping. And when you look at it, it's like, you know, WWE's down, you know. AEW.
So wrestling as a whole has a terrible year. It's dropping. WWE's down. That's a fact. AEW's up, but Tone doesn't want to go to Netflix, where it's the bigger platform, because they're already beating Raw, but he was worried about it going to fucking Netflix for some reason, and he just has to be relegated to Paramount. Or fucking WBD, whatever it's going to be called. That has way less of an audience than fucking Netflix. Like, listen to all just like this weird writhering around. Like, none of it makes sense. Even I don't know what point I'm trying to make by keep fucking bringing that up. Okay? But it's just like, I've gone fucking Looney Tunes this episode. Like, Dave is nuts.
He's never,
Oh, and another glitch out. Nice.
That, people have tried to explain, but what these numbers are compared to how the numbers were tabulated from the beginning of time until September 2025. And, people will look at these numbers and go, oh my God, wrestling's had a terrible year. It's dropping. And when you look at it, it's like, WWE's down, AEW's never been higher practically. Especially if you throw in the fact that they're on Max, they probably have never been higher than they are right now on a consistent basis. But people don't know that. And anyway, but yeah, so
people don't know that. Tone doesn't know that. He doesn't know the numbers, blah, blah, fucking blah, but Dave knows them. So we move along here, and Dave Meltzer thinks Sami Zayn's undisputed WWE Championship win is very similar situation to Darby Allin. I mean, I don't even know if we can really hate on this. It's just his opinion, I guess. He says the championship change was a surprise. I don't think he's the guy in their plans. Well, clearly he's the guy in their fucking plans if they put the fucking title on him. It's very similar to Darby Allin in a sense that at some point they were going to do it. Dave, they put the title on Darby because Tone promised it to him, but he realized that Darby's not going to be in the title picture. And so they hotshot booked some shit so that they could keep going with the next 3 champions that fucking Tone has laid out. But at some point he promised Darby he would give Darby a title. I know it. And Darby just lost momentum and luster after Sting's not by his side. And so they just like kind of pulled the trigger on him in his hometown before he got married as like a wedding gift to him. The Darby Allin thing turned out to be a pretty big success in the way it was done, and this could be too. I mean, okay, maybe in New York they did 14,000 people or whatever. Okay, maybe it was a success. I don't see a long reign, but I would hope it's longer than SummerSlam, long enough to where it's not like one of those things where, well, we finally gave it to him, but we didn't mean it. Oh, so like Darby Allin? So they gave it to him, but it didn't really mean nothing because he just dropped it right away at a fucking pay-per-view. And Sami Zayn could do that. I get the vibes that's what's going to happen with Sami because he keeps taking pictures with the title like all over the place. Having coffee, out to dinner, fucking. It's like a Ricky Dozan watch, right? It's just out on the fucking town. And I think that's why they might take it off Sami quickly. But hey, if Oba beats Sami, everybody will be happy with that. And if Sami beats Jay, nobody's going to be mad about that. They'll actually be happy with that too. So I don't know, but they are pretty similar, I guess, in that, yeah, it's kind of a transitional thing. And they're guys, I mean, you could argue, I guess Darby deserves it. Like he was really cool at one point in AEW when Punk was working with him and shit. And then some of the Sting stuff was okay, but it just got repetitive and boring after a while. And by the time the Sting retirement, they're all like, no retirement's been booked better. And I disagree. I don't think it was that. It wasn't even really focused on Sting like it was. His sons came out. They were painted up like him and shit. That's all good. But the most memorable thing is Darby jumping off that shit and falling through the glass, you know? That's the only thing you still see gifs of to this day. To this day. And so speaking of goofy shit here, Dave and Bryan had differing opinions on whether or not WWE needed a video package to show how Danhausen stole money from the Judgment Day. So let's see here. Let's take a listen.
I really didn't like him cursing Liv Morgan because at this stage of the game, because they're trying to get this curse thing so over and him so over, the minute he cursed Liv Morgan, it's like, oh, Ego's winning. And I don't really think that we needed that because it was like, there was no way that Liv Morgan was going to win, and they gave it away.
Well,
that's why you curse her as well. It's not giving it away, because this is the problem. Again, this is this JD from NY shit. Like, Dave is sitting here talking about how it's so predictable, and well, Kenny's just winning the title on Wednesday, guys. Don't even tune in. Kenny's winning, and we know he's winning the belt. It's not at Redemption. Ring the bell. Alert, alert. Kenny Omega is fucking winning the belt, letting it be known and talking about how it's so good that Tone's doing predictable shit. But then they found a way to make the predictable, like, it was so predictable. Io's going to beat Liv, then call out Liv because she beat her. So why wouldn't you go after the champion that you fucking just beat? It was obvious. So then they just put the Danhausen curse on her, and then it gets the Danhausen curse that's so over. They're talking about having fucking Danhausen floats at parades, and they're doing New York Knicks merch with him and all this shit. Like, come on, Dave, man. This is where you go with the comically predictable, on the nose, continuing the Judgment Day story along with Danhausen, and also getting the curse more over, which is super like mainstream Stephen A. Smith over. And then also then you have Io win, and then she challenges Liv for the title, because that makes the most sense too. You're going to challenge the champion that you beat. Fuck,
That's exactly what happened. She slapped.
Good for me, not for thee. You cherry pick when fucking predictability's good in AEW, and then you hate on it when it's predictable in WWE, but it's good. Or it's not good, I guess, because it's Danhausen and you're fucking triggered because he left Tony Khan's company.
Tell me about this money thing.
What about it?
Well, how did the money get to Danhausen? How did he steal it? Who brought the money?
They paid him to curse him. He didn't, and they wanted their money back because he didn't curse.
Did they bring a briefcase of money? What'd they do?
I don't know.
Exactly. They should have put the video on, for crying out loud. It was a minute.
It doesn't matter.
1 minute.
They explained it.
Listen, if it's gonna be on 3 straight shows, give me a damn video.
It was explained.
Give me a video. Come on. This is elementary.
It's not
video
elementary.
package.
They already explained it. Once they explain it, you don't have to keep. That's
TNA level here.
See, now they're saying it's TNA level, but before it's fucking everyone's crying about WWE 10 million video packages, and the commentary reiterate it. Now, Bryan is being a cuck here. Like, he doesn't need to see a package. Dave is right. And Dave has used this defense. So again, I'll give a base Dave flute, because he's used this defense for AEW, where he's like, oh, they said it, so it doesn't matter, Bryan. But, like, you have to understand, too, like, WWE, they're doing a fucking angle here. Let's face it, Danhausen is for the children, for sure. And they're doing an angle here where these guys are basically like, pay us back or we'll break your legs type shit. But there's, like, kids watch the show, and it's Danhausen, and it's kids buying his merch, and it's a fucking wacky character, and you also want to market to kids. So they're not going to show Long Gone or the day. I mean, okay, Travis Scott smoked a blunt on his way to the fucking ring. But long gone are the days of, like, the APA gambling and fucking doing shots and drinking beers. What? And fucking smoking cigars and shit. Sitting backstage, like, you might get that. Possibly that's some shit that, like, The Rock would do on his social media, though. He takes a shot of fucking Terramana on the socials or something, right? Like, you don't really do that on the show. Even though they promote alcohol and stuff for the adults, you don't see Cody Rhodes, like, drinking a fucking Moscow Mule. He's not slamming cranberry vodkas or a skinny bitch, right? The soda water, fucking squeeze a lime in there and some vodka in a tall glass with lots of ice. You know what I'm saying? He ain't drinking skinny bitches. He's sitting there fucking promoting the shit in commercials, but it's not really, and yes, they have cocktails on the pod or on, like, other adjacent things, but on the Raw show with Danhausen, they're not going to be like Sopranos. Here's a fucking briefcase exchange of money. that Danhausen gambles away or whatever, at least in my mind,
Remember when they explained
everything's digital now? They fucking Venmo'd him.
that, like, who was the lady?
God, no.
Remember AJ had like a girlfriend?
I don't even want to hear this.
What was her name?
Once they explained it, it's
What was her
explained. I don't even care. Once they explained it, it's explained. You don't have to keep hitting people over the head. Oh, let's show the video 16 times.
Nah,
It's
I
like,
show it once.
Once you say it,
Once.
you've said it. You've said it. It's already been explained.
One time.
This is like a total non-issue.
No, but I disagree with Dave where you don't just say things one time, because then, like, if somebody didn't tune in, the beauty of WWE is if you miss a week, you can turn on fucking Raw or SmackDown and you know what happened last week. You know why you should care. If anything from the week before needs to be reiterated, it's there in the package. And then if anything from the week before that needs to be reiterated as well to add context for the last week, they fucking included as well. Okay. So I'm with Bry. But WWE, the complaint was that they used to do too many packages and shit like that. Now Bry wants more packages. And then fucking Dave is sitting here at least defending WWE for once. But I also disagree with Dave in that you should say it more than once. But everybody knows, basically, if you're watching WWE, and Brian knows this is why he's being a little bitch right here, because he knows that, because he watches Raw every week, presumably, right? So if you're watching it every week, you fucking understand if you just turned it on that evening. But they also did say it, like they did bring up the fact that the monies and all of that, like they did bring that up on commentary. So I don't know, man. It's just about finding a good balance, and this was at Night of Champions.
No.
So
If they had never said it,
I don't know if he's complaining about Raw or Night of Champions here.
do this and everyone goes like, "Oh, what are they talking about?" It's like, no, it was completely explained.
So anyway, hopefully they have that video on Raw.
They
But
don't have
Liv
that.
and Io faced each other in the Queen of the Ring.
Now it's old news. In fact, putting it
Actually, it's not, because it's still in the storyline. He cursed her because they haven't got the money back, and then she lost. So this will be a main story.
No, he didn't. Wait, so hold on. I think Brian's confused. He cursed her because the Judgment Day didn't get the money back from Danhausen? That's not why he cursed her.
Story on Raw. Liv has been cursed, and that's why she lost.
Yeah.
And she's going to be begging for the curse to be lifted.
Good.
More money's going to be involved.
Well, I don't know about that, but the whole point is if that, so that as far as that goes, that's just going to be, they could show the thing that happened here. They could show the curse thing on Monday, and then they don't have to do
So
that.
someone in chat is elaborating here. Kaiju So Shingeki says Bryan Alvarez didn't pay attention. Los Garza are mad because they were betting on those basketball games. Yes, I knew gambling was involved. Where Danhausen was doing curses, there was no exchange of money on TV between wrestlers. Boom. There you go. If AEW gets Paramount deal, I will wear a shock collar, get on all fours, and bark like a dog while I let Dave press the shock button. See, this is why I know not to doubt you when it comes to specifically the whole Paramount. It's been called to a T, Zero Dark, whoever you are. And yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Kaiju just explained why fucking Brian is off base here. And this is what I mean. Like, I don't know if these guys watch the shows all the time. I don't want to pull elitist, like, watch the fucking show and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, come on, man. That's not why Danhausen is cursing her. I think you're just misinformed.
It's been explained.
It's already
They don't need
whatever.
to show it. It's been explained. Liv and Io for the Queen of the Ring.
You know,
And the way Brian's being condescending here, I've stuck up for Bry too many times. He thinks he can condescend Dave and shit. No. You're still a fool too, dude. Okay? You're still very short-tempered. Absolutely.
Brian.
We're watching you. We're looking into you, Bry.
I will say this: if they're gonna have Danhausen be like this main character against Judgment Day, that really devalues Judgment Day a lot.
But what about Judgment Day, though? They did give fucking him some human monies, too. So maybe there should be money exchanging. You just don't need to see it. You don't need, that's like mafioso type shit that just doesn't, it's a wrestling show for kids. You know, Danhausen's a fucking Simpsons character. So it's just not, it's not what you do. So Bry melts down some more, and he's like, with all due respect, WWE, fuck you. So here's Bry crying, Brian.
ESPN spent way too much money on WWE. Now they got to try and figure out how to make some of this money back. And so that means incessant commercials on these shows. And so
I think that was always the plan. Everything's incessant commercials. Have you been on YouTube lately? Everything's incessant commercials.
we have like a horrible finish.
But they just like attribute it to, oh, they spent too much and they're pissed and they need all their money. It's like, dude, who are you listening to? Freddie Prinze Jr.? That's who said that. That's who made that rumor up. Freddie Prinze with Jeff Dye, who were fucking clapping like seals in the front row. Tone gave them tickets to not this last pay-per-view, but the one before, I believe. And Freddie Prinze was the one like, man, my dudes in fucking at ESPN, at Disney are saying that ESPN's fucking licking their wounds over this shit. And then Dave ran with it.
A dead crowd and a horrible match in front of a dead crowd, 3 straight. And I'm like, let's just get this show on the road. Let's get it over with. But of course they can't. And so I sat through commercial after commercial after commercial after. There's one match left. Like, can we just get to it? Nope. Commercial. And then after all that, I'm like, okay, commercials are done. Can we watch this match now? No. They're like, hey, everybody, let's take a look at how the Arabic announcers are calling this show. I said, what? Let's take a look.
Yeah, you guys just, I don't know, that's more of the sports-based presentation, Bry. So I know you guys think, oh, AEW's real wrestling, the sport of pro wrestling, bruv. So that's just like a sports element because it's sports and entertainment. And like, I don't like Adamania either. Okay, I'm not a big fan of, constant ads all the time like any fucking human being. All right. At the same time, though, I think it was paced much better. He's talking about Night of Champions here, right? So it wasn't as egregious as like WrestleMania. I don't think we were missing entrances at Night of Champions. And I think this was ESPN's plan the whole time. I don't think it's because they're like trying to cover their nut.
Look at how the Arabic announcers are calling the show.
Yeah, he can't believe it. Like they do that for fucking hockey. You get the French commentary. For soccer, they'll do compilations of the different languages announcers. And if somebody from, let's say, the opposing team, like let's say Canada's playing fucking Ghana or something, I don't know. Pick a team, pick a place. I don't know all the soccer teams either, so I probably sound like a noob, but they will sometimes take like, okay, Canada's playing Germany. The German guy scores a goal on Canada. And then Canada's broadcast, or like America or name whatever, will take the German guy's thing and then fucking air it on their broadcast and go, look how funny and turnt this guy got for this goal. Like TSN will do that and shit when they're covering like international sports. So I don't know. That's like a sports-based aspect that Bry, of course, he doesn't watch sports.
They start showing
He was never big enough to be on any team, right? So he always got picked last because he's so short.
Plays in Arabic. I was like, what? I can't take it. I left. I walked out of this house. I left. I couldn't fucking take it anymore. That's where we're at now. We haven't wasted enough time. Now, let's see how the announcers are calling the show in Arabic. You know how they're calling the show in Arabic? They're calling it in Arabic. If I wanted to watch it, I could have switched to the language. What the Thank God they didn't have like 9 announced teams, and they could have said, well, let's see how they're called in French.
They do that. Sports do that, bro. Fucking Brian's just... These guys are in such a bubble. That's why it's hard for them to like wrap their brains around, Brian. Like the Paramount stuff and all of that. Like they're just cooked. They're cookie monsters.
Hey, let's do next. Let's see how they're calling the show in Spanish.
They don't like watch sports and shit. I don't...
I'm like, what in the going on? And then I swear to God, I left. I walked up the fucking hill.
Yeah.
I walked that way. I walked around an entire fucking neighborhood. I walked back.
Dave and Bry went up the hill, both with $1.25. Dave came down with $2.50. That hoa.
I walked down the fucking hill. I get in. We still hadn't got through the ring entrances.
Why are you walking up hills, you fucking creepy weirdo?
The
What
main
are you
event.
doing?
No, I've been trying to say what happened after you left with the Arabic announce team is they started the post show. You go to Big E and his friends at the podium talking about what a great show it's been and how excited they are.
You know, I can say this because LA Knight basically said it to the Usos. WWE, with all due respect, fuck you. God damn it. Jesus Christ, this show.
All right. That was my reaction to the 17-hour show. He's like, oh, there's so many ads. It's like, okay, but they put on like a way better paced show than fucking Forbidden Floor, where it's like 12 hours deep, and even Dave's like, I won't dare talk shit about this Ospreay match, but I was fucking tired, Bryan. You know what I'm saying?
Is it yes after all
So here's Bryan crying some more.
these years? Sami Zayn finally got his world title. He's now a world champion. He can say that he won the world championship. So that's all nice and good. I should be in a better mood to talk about it, but
with Darby, they're all just like, oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, Bryan.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
With Sammy, he's just like, Sammy's the champion.
God fucking damn it, this fucking show. I think we should start at the beginning. I can get all my anger out, and then maybe I can talk. Then after all that, I'm like...
So this is just an extended version of his meltdown. I'm not going through all that. Bry's a fucking cry more. So speaking of Danhausen and making Wrestling Observer cry, here's CM Punk and his response to Wrestling Observer newsletter reporting he has heat backstage with WWE. And so here is seemingly a comic book panel. And I think that's Kang the Conqueror with Danhausen's head over his body. And then it says, taking over America makes me thirsty. Come back here, you creep. You owe me 10 cents. And he steals the lemonade. And then CM Punk tags Danhausen, and it says, Danhausen is cancerous to America and really didn't pay for lemonade. He is blackballed. All that bullshit about Punk having heat backstage in WWE and shit too. It's just funny how some random Twitter account says that shit. They run with it. Multiple stories. Everybody melts down. Credible people like fucking a Nicolo Piccolo says some shit about the TV and he becomes Lord Voldemort and they're not allowed to say his name. Like you couldn't be more transparent with your biased shillery than these motherfuckers have been. But shout out Punk. I love when he fucking hurts Bryan's feelings. And speaking of which, here's what Bry, again, he's crying more. Here's what he had to say about Punk. He said that Punk turned into Hulk Hogan. And it's like, yeah, what a draw, brother. Well, let me tell you something about Pepsi, dude, about being straight edge Jack. Punk really said his prayers and ate his vitamins. And didn't do drugs or alcohol, dude. I mean, we've all popped a couple peptides. We used to call it poppin' peps, dude. Jack, well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene, about steroids. They're actually way safer nowadays. You can buy shit over the counter at a Popeyes, dude. That'll get you real yoked up. And you too can body slam the stinky giant, dude.
My favorite story of the last couple of days. Did you see this Punk interview that he did a couple of days ago? Probably not, right?
Did not.
So Punk's on this show and he explains.
Oh, yeah, and we have fucking in chat. It's called a vacation for the summer. We'll be cool for the summer, right? It's called a vacation. Oh, gee, you don't say Zero Dark. How do you know? How would you know Zero Dark?
We were doing this match in Brazil, and he says we haven't been back to Brazil since.
Phil Brooks, yeah, dude. Phil Marks and Phil Brooks, head of the Phil Council. No Philly P. He's not allowed.
It's because
or Darkside Phil. They've been banished into fucking obscurity.
there was an incident where Chris Jericho got a hold of a Brazilian flag, and I'm not sure, I forget exactly what he did, but he did something. And Punk goes, so the next thing you know, ring is surrounded by guys with machine guns, and these Brazilians are not happy. And basically his story is like, they told us, man, you guys got to get out of there. It's looking bad. But Jericho didn't want to go home. He was going to keep doing the match. And so Punk explained, I had to roll this guy up and stack him, high stack and pin him to get us out of there. He's telling this whole story, okay? So anyway, what's amazing about this, okay? What's amazing about it is as he's telling the story, in like the bottom left-hand part of the screen, they actually show clips from the match. It's very brief. It just like flashes on the screen and then disappears, okay? As he's telling the story about this match. So like, you know, once people saw that, they were like, well, wait a second. The match exists. Like there's a handheld of it. The story that he's telling us about. So you'll never guess. People went up and they...
you want to fucking pull Punk's card with this? Like, do we need to bring up the Jack Perry footage and do that side by side again? It's crazy how Bry does this, but when the Jack Perry footage goes down, he doesn't say, oh, I mean, it looked exactly like what Punk said, and it seems like Jack Perry is a fucking dickhead. He has nothing to say about any of that because he wrestles Marco Stunt and shit on the fucking indies, but with Punk, who took his girl back in the day, fucking mogged him. He got mogged by Phil Brooks, dude. Oh my God. We're talking about obsession. Have you guys seen the CM Punk horror movie where he's like fixing up that fucking house? And then some like freaky deaky chick who I think is like a ghost starts hitting on him, and he's like fucking telling his wife, just stay away from the house. And then, well, I don't want to spoil it and shit, but that's a good movie. It's actually pretty goddamn good. It came out like years ago.
You found the match, and you will be stunned to hear that none of that happened. There were no men surrounding the ring with machine guns. There was no shoot roll up. They just like did a match. Fans were like cheering and everything like that.
There's no shoot roll up, but you're a fruit roll up, Bry. Am I right, guys? Guys, am I right? Go.
That. And then, Jericho tried to swing a chair and, Punk avoided it, hoists him up, hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. I was like, my God, he's turned into Hulk Hogan. He had this totally made up story about this incident that happened with Jericho. And just like the funniest part to me was he's telling the story and they actually have footage of the match as he's telling the story.
Hey, we actually have footage of him fighting Jack Perry, and it 1-to-1 lines up. Even Jack Perry's friends will tell you that it 1-to-1 lines up and just made Punk look really good because exactly what he said is exactly what plays out on camera. Okay. And I don't know, man. Like, what was Brian's reaction to that? I don't even remember. Maybe we should look that up for the next show. But was he sitting there going, oh, the story? He's just like nitpicking some weird thing it's pro wrestling. It's just like getting heat on the biz, man.
So anyway, I was greatly amused by that over the last couple of days. Maybe I'll bring that up in a promo when we come back. But that is one time when we can tell him when he was telling lies.
See, there's one time we could tell him when he's telling lies. Bry, should we do you explaining your match and then when you're waiting for Marco Stunt to do a run out on the indies like we did on patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes, where I do bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, exclusive to Patreon, because we watched some matches from your wrestling career. Not a lot of them, but we watched some shit where you did a side-by-side trying to explain why you're the worst pro wrestler of all time waiting for Marco Stunt to do a run-in on you. Do we need to pull that up where you're just telling fucking lies? Tell me lies, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. So speaking of having your mind boggled, here is Dave coping, and we should have did this before. It's all good though. Here's him coping about AAA and NXT Heatwave going head to head with AEW.
You're going to do a 6-hour show. and it's going to be 3 hours on YouTube and then 3 hours on CW. It boggles my mind. It's like you really hate AEW so much you're gonna start a show at 11 a.m. in Edinburgh, Texas, because you are so obsessed with
okay, dude, is WWE obsessed with AEW, or are all the AEW wrestlers constantly melting down and comparing themselves to WWE, and the only time they get clipped is when they compare themselves to WWE? And Tone started by talking shit and spazzing out about, the Friday Night Wars, it's in court. I have more money than Jim Crockett. I will not take this shit. What is more obsessed with WWE? Copying all the shit they've done poorly on your show.
Maybe costing like 3,000 or 5,000 buys out of 185,000.
See, so he's saying already. Okay, so I fucked up. I thought he was saying Forbidden Door was going to do 185,000, but he's already talking about All In doing 185,000. Meanwhile, the fucking ticket sales are the lowest. The Google trends are the lowest. The hype is the lowest. Tone stuffing in a quick pay-per-view redemption last minute out of nowhere before this one. Like, come on, man.
Next month, it's like, what the hell? But, that's, I guess their strategy is that, we would rather be bullies and lose audience.
We're going to be bullies. So how are they bullies if they keep losing and you keep saying they need to lose, or pardon me, they need to learn their lesson, Dave? So remember, Dave keeps saying, WWE should learn their lesson. I can't say I didn't warn them if they studied and learned.
Baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
But somehow they're the bullies. So NXT and AAA are the bullies to AEW's WrestleMania Super Show All In. That's like saying that a GCW show that pulls up to Vegas night one of WrestleMania and does a show that night while WrestleMania's on for fans who aren't going to WrestleMania but are there to party and are going to wrestle later. That's like saying that is being a bully to WrestleMania, if we're to believe the way you present AEW, Dave. But somehow the developmental and the fucking company from Mexico, CMLL, can't bully WWE, right? So somehow you're conceding that NXT now all of a sudden is bullying AEW. What are you saying about AEW? It's just like these Freudian slips where he just fucking like really admits the truth, but then he like dances around it and doesn't just say it, but he admits it in his fucking cope. You need a John Cena hair.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
So Dave's saying you're going to continue to be the bully and lose viewers. Okay, so one, it's not like losing viewers as in they don't return and watch the show or watch it on replay or just watch AAA on fucking YouTube like I do every fucking week, right? Listen to the disappointment in his voice, but also what kind of bully loses every time and gets taught a lesson, but then keeps coming back for more and fucking, I'm a bully. Everybody I pick on beats my ass. Are you really the bully at that point? Or are you just like Johnny Knoxville? You're like jumping, like standing in a bull pit and jumping over fucking bull. Like at what point is it just you're Steve-O and you're just a glutton for punishment? So it would be that. You can't be the bully and be getting your ass kicked all the fucking time like you're trying to make it out to be. And Dave's just retarded. He doesn't understand how he says one thing and then says the complete opposite thing and then stands by both things he's fucking saying as if you can like have your cake and eat it too. I don't even know if that's the right like terminology or expression rather to fucking use when it comes to that, like having your cake and but he just wants it both ways. Like it can't be both. You can't be losing every fight and you're the fucking bully. right? At some point, it's like, well, WWE's the underdog trying to fight from behind under AEW. If AEW's beating Raw on Netflix and shit, why do you care about Heatwave? But just listen to the disappointment in his voice. He's so sad.
Next month, it's like, what the hell? But, it's, I guess their strategy is that, we would rather be bullies and lose audience than let them.
What a fucking tart. Like, it's streaming too. So, okay, it's on Netflix and I choose to buy all in and then I'll watch fucking Heatwave later. I'll just watch it tomorrow. Dave, it's about streaming minutes, retention rate, replayability. How many people keep coming back to this fucking video? Jesus Christ.
I've been thinking about it. The one strategy where it does make sense is
where it does make sense is where it does make sense is the senses is on Cage Match.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it. They are moving to a new platform, and I think that obviously WWE does not want them successful on the new platform, and anything that they can do now. It is similar to when they first started, where, Vince, rushed that NXT TV show to go head to head with them because he wanted them to fail on TV, and it didn't work out that way. But, that was the strategy and that was the goal, and totally understood the goal, right? The goal made sense, just didn't, just didn't work out that way.
Okay. All right. So what's the point? You're just sad that they're going head to head. Fucking cry about it more, you little bitch. So now Dave is going to complain about fucking Oba Femi and Brock in Hell in a Cell. And you got JD crying. And I know WWE's not perfect, but how the fuck can people I destroyed Alba, by the way. Check out my back and forth with John Alba. He just tapped out like Paul Walter Hauser did too, because I can just logically dismantle these fools, man. And it's like Alba was on some same shit that JD from NY was on. They're saying the exact same thing. But meanwhile, Alba calls JD from NY a fucking grifter. Meanwhile, you guys have the same fucking opinions on this. You just want the predictable, what's laid right in front of you fucking route, the way Dave Meltzer does when it comes to AEW, but he doesn't like when WWE does it. Okay. And they're just trying to draw parallels. So again, when it comes to Oba and Brock was the next big thing. Oba's the next big thing. The Rock handpicked Brock as the guy who is going to fucking beat him and take his title of fucking youngest world champion at SummerSlam. Brock handpicked Oba to fucking beat Brock at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar is passing the torch. He famously has had, I think, 2 Hell in a Cell matches with Undertaker. The first one was with Undertaker as well after he won the WWE title, where Undertaker bled all over the place for Brock, and it was a passing of the fucking torch moment there. Later, I think in 2015, Brock and Undertaker had another Hell in the Cell, but there's significance there because of that moment. Undertaker passed the torch to Brock essentially in that fucking, like, he earned the big dog's respect type shit, right? Now Brock is going to do the same for Oba in a Hell in a Cell. Also, Undertaker fucking Oba is his guy. Undertaker was working with Oba a little bit. Undertaker put him over on TV, said, hey, let them know it's your yard and shit. All of that stuff is culminating in this. And it's about drawing the parallels between these two. People are like, what if he won the Rumble and he fucking... It's not the Royal Rumble. And also John Cena cashed in his Rumble shot at fucking No Way Out before. So that doesn't matter, and we've seen that. And also, Brock always meddles with and interferes in the WWE title picture. He was champ and said, fuck you guys, I'm entering the Rumble this year. That's what Brock does. He always just shows up out of nowhere, inserts himself. It logistically tracks, okay? It's just that it's not as predictable as Brock fucks Oba, and then you get fucking and then Oba loses to Jay, and then or whatever the fuck they wanted. They wanted Seth and Breaker to be on opposite brackets and then fight their ways to the final to force them to fight again, even though that's just like the greatest coincidence of all time because they'd still be beefing. Like, you guys want the logical, no, not just the logical, both are logical. It's not illogical either way that they booked the way we got to these matches. Either way works. One way is just more predictable than the other. And with WWE fans, we have sort of a split where some people want like the really predictable, easily fantasy mark bookable things to happen. And then some people are like, dude, I'm just all about like, if they can find a way to keep me on my fucking toes. But none of it's nonsensical. Like, I was convinced Jey Uso, and in fact, it was more unpredictable simply because a lot of people thought Jey Uso was going to win that shit. And then he went out there and did business. So it just keeps everybody. It was the least predictable route to go in an otherwise largely predictable fucking crossroads, I guess, that they came across. Anyways, let's hear Bry's take on this and Dave's.
After winning the King of the Ring, Oba Femi doesn't give a shit about this belt. He wants to face Brock Lesnar.
Well, that's because he got attacked.
This is ridiculous. It's like
that's the story they came up with. I mean,
yeah, and it sucks. Can we at least say that? We had a King of the Ring that was advertised as the winner getting a championship match.
Yeah, well, he's going to get.
And the guy gave it up.
He's going to get his championship match. I think it's. I think it'll be at WrestleMania.
I know, but like, I don't know.
And it makes sense with the sell too, because like Brock, yeah. So I just looked it up. He had one in 2002 at No Mercy where Undertaker, or it was 03, pardon me, 02 or 03, whatever. But he fucking is bleeding everywhere, and that was the passing of the torch. That was like it's your yard now. But then to end their rivalry, 2015, Taker versus Brock at Hell in a Cell in Hell in a Cell. Brock got the win as well to put a stamp on the rivalry. So this is doing both. This is Brock like giving the Taker rub to Taker's guy, and it's accomplishing what Taker did and The Rock did for Brock at SummerSlam, which is where Brock won his title and shit. And it's also in Minneapolis where Brock can retire in front of his family unless he I mean, it's TKO, right? They want to throw the Brock Bucks around. They're going to throw the fucking Brock Bucks around. But it just makes so much sense to me. And we got here regardless. Like, what do you guys want to see Jey Uso pin Oba? Then you all would have cried about that. You know?
Well,
you want to see Seth get crowned King of the Ring? You'd all just cry about that and be like, why can't we make new stars?
It's advertised as a match where the winner gets the main event at SummerSlam for the title. Yes. And this guy got beat up and he was like, I don't want it. I'd rather face this guy in a Hell in a Cell match.
It's not that I don't want it. It's I will get to it later. This is what Alba tried to say. Oh, imagine you're just like win the Rumble and you're like, no, I don't want it then. Cena did that. He's like, I want it at No Way Out. Yeah, dude, that can fucking happen. Like, and it's like not the. Here's the thing. He didn't go, I don't want the title shot. He said it can wait. It can fucking wait. That's what he said. Right. And I said to John Alba, I was like, dude, Thanos isn't whatever. Forget about Thanos. We can wait. But you had to fuck Ebony Maw up before you could go, he's tearing up the streets. We got to whoop that Ebony Maw ass first before we get to Thanos, dude. Like, it's longevity with Oba. You're just trying to drag this out here.
Yeah, well, that was
not in a bad way because it's fucking Brock and Oba in a cage.
Story. He could have lost, but Brock probably just maybe Brock didn't want to make the trip. Or maybe they just wanted Oba not to lose twice.
Well, if Oba is not going to win the tournament, he doesn't have to be in it. In fact, we talked about this when they started the tournament. It was like,
he won the tournament, so shut up.
Why is Oba in this? Unless he's like going to win.
He did. Exactly. Oh, so he fucking win and he squashed everybody. And that's exactly why they did it, right? Oh my God.
Well,
and then it was like, well, he's going to win. I guess he'll have to challenge somebody.
They wanted him to wear the crown and they wanted him to
Which he hasn't put on, by the way.
Yeah, he had it.
He just carries it.
Yeah.
I think it sucks.
He's the ruler. Dave don't know shit about Wakanda, son.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's like it doesn't suck. It's like it's not like the first 10th or 15th time this has been done. But it's just how they decide to do their business. I mean, I think from a business standpoint, they got nothing bigger than Roman Reigns against Obafemi, and that's the WrestleMania match most likely. So, did he have to win King of the Ring? Could they have done Lesnar? Could Lesnar have interfered? I mean, they could have.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, though. This is the thing. It's just always like downplaying this before we even see it. I can't stand that shit. It's like, dude, what if Oba beats Brock, then he cashes in at the Rumble, he gets fucked out of his match, whatever happens, then he enters the Rumble at 30 and wins, or let's say he cashes it in before that, and then he fucking enters the Rumble and then he wins it from like number 1, or he comes in at 15 and throws 15 guys out, and then he fucking makes it to Mania to fight Roman. Like, we don't know at all what they even have up their sleeves. So it's like, quit fucking crying about this when it's not bad. He just said it. It doesn't suck. AEW fucking sucks and the booking's confusing. There you go. That's the difference. What's the difference between me and you? You talk a good one, but you don't know what you're supposed to do, right? I act on what I feel and never deal with emotion. Stop the beat a minute, Dre. I got something to say. I forget how it goes. Dave Meltzer on Lola Vice versus Kendall Gray, and he just fucking slobs all over this. I dropped a video today. Kendall Gray rejects Dave Meltzer. Rejected him hard.
Lola and Kendall Gray.
And it's funny, too, that he glazes Lola so hard. So I was a fan of Valerie Lareda, Lola Vice, when she was an MMA fighter. Okay. And I was already following her on socials, and I never knew she had any fucking inclination of like wanting to be a pro wrestler, but she brought that fucking character, her sassiness, her dancing, her booty shaking and all of that. She'll knock a bitch out, TKO her, and then fucking twerk on her or whatever. And when I heard that WWE was looking at Valerie Lareda, I was like, holy fuck, they got something in her. I'm telling you right now. And she's a shooter. Like, she has something. And then to see her develop and become fucking NXT champ, like, I don't know. To me, it's just incredible. I'm such a fan of hers. Kendall Gray's really solid too. She's a really good like pro wrestler. Now, as far as like her character and shit, we need to see more. We need to see her get in some really good storylines and shit. Her and Lola just crush it. They're like a match made in heaven. I'm with Dave on these matches being really good, but like, where was Dave sleeping on Lola Vice before? Like, she was always delivering, man. As soon as they put her on TV, she just was clicking every week. You see her get better and better right before your eyes. And that's almost more fun. Like watching Conor McGregor's rise to the top and then watching him go Super Saiyan mode, hands behind the back, 1, 2, 3, 4 on Eddie Alvarez drop. Like, that's what you want to see. You want to be there for the rise, dude. You want to see Jordan winning the fucking 6 chips. You want to see you want to see Roman go on this historical run. Like, you want to watch that shit in real time and watch that transformation. And you got to see that with Lola, but Dave wasn't fucking glazing it. Now he's just, oh, Lola's so good. Yeah, because you're finally watching because you like Kendall Gray. That's all that tells me.
They were awesome.
He's like, the other day, he's like, Kalani Jordan's so good. No shit. What the fuck are you going to tell me, that Blake Monroe is good next? Or I guess she's called up now. What are you going to tell me, that fucking, Jada Parker's a fucking good pro wrestler? Like, holy shit.
Awesome match. As a wrestling match, it was better than anything on Night of Champions. I mean, if you're into the idea that because Sami Zayn won the title, I mean, and that's a world title and that's a big thing to you, obviously you'll like that better than this. But I mean, as far as just the wrestling part of it, I mean, as good as Gunther and those guys are, these two just were, they got great chemistry together. They were awesome. So, like when going into the main event, I didn't think it was such a great show. I thought it was fine, kind of good. And after the main event, it's like, oh yeah, like this is a no-brainer, thumbs up, easy show. It was better than Night of Champions for sure. I mean, I don't know how it would compare to TNA. Obviously, that did not compare to AEW. But anyway, so yeah. But both of those women, You know, I mean, I think Lola Vice should,
You didn't even watch TNA.
Will be in the main roster pretty
Neither compared to AEW though.
soon. You know, losing and everything like that. And I think she should do well. Kendall Gray is going to be a superstar, no doubt about it.
And that's why he tried to poach her to AEW. The thing is with Dave too is like, Kendall Gray, go get paid 10x more to be in AEW. Why? So she doesn't turn into a superstar, you dumb fuck?
The one comment.
So here is Dave Meltzer melting down about Triple H not being serious, even though, and this is a follow-up to what he said before because he got such backlash, but even though Dave will spend 10 minutes deliberating about why the Meltzer driver isn't called the Meltzer driver because of horrible people, Bryan, on AEW.
The one comment, which everyone is pointing to, I just thought it came off really bad. It's like, because like my rule when it comes to wrestling is that you, before you say anything and you make your analogies, you go, if I was the NFL commissioner, if I was the head of, movie studio, would I say this and put these same words in there? And if it comes out, goes, man, this is stupid. That means don't say it. I mean, could you imagine, people like the head of a movie studio or
so like Dave, everything you fucking say ever,
or the producer of a big movie going like, oh, you people are thinking too much about the movie. Just sit there and enjoy it. It's like,
that's literally what people fucking do say about movies.
Charging hundreds of dollars, even thousands for tickets. And you're telling people.
And that's not what he said, Dave. He didn't say that. You're just like embellishing the truth, you fucking liar. Dave always lies. His biggest one is embellishment. You're embellishing the fucking truth. He never said that.
Not to care about it. It's like, the entire idea of every single thing mass produced to make it work is to get people to care.
Imagine Dave, who has to vote Triple H in for bragging about record gates, and he's literally talking about how they're charging hundreds and thousands of dollars. So people don't care, Dave. They're spending thousands of dollars because they don't care. Well, they're just new, stupid minorities, Bryan. That's what he said about the UK crowd. They're all new fans. They're all dumb. They're just there for entrances and video packages, and it's mostly minorities. And it's like, whoa, dude. So now he's just like explaining to Triple H how to get them to do what? Spend hundreds and thousands on tickets. Tone charges $43 a fucking ticket for his pay-per-view and shit. They charge hundreds and thousands, and you're going to explain to them what Triple H needs to do for them to keep doing what they've been doing that you were crying about voting him most disgusting promotional tactic, bragging about gates. Now you're trying to explain to him how to fucking get a gate because that's what matters now all of a sudden. Dave, you're a dumb fuck. You're a shill. You just select what matters. You have different criteria for different people. Okay? Tone's a billionaire who tongues your taint, and you fucking are just tickled by him and smitten by him, and he can do no wrong. Triple H is a guy who thinks you're a fucking mark, and he gives you a designated stooge to lie to you. And it's a problem that he's selling tickets for hundreds and thousands of dollars and talking about what kind of gates they're doing. And it's a problem when he says, don't take everything so seriously, because he should be worried about the hundreds and thousands of dollars for tickets and the gates he's doing. Which is it, bro?
And you're telling them, oh, you're too busy trying to care about this. It's like, that's the whole freaking idea. That's the reason your company has been so successful, is because you've been able to manipulate people to care. Now you're mad.
So now it's manipulating people to care. Now you're mad that they care. He's not mad. You're mad. Have you gone mad? Are you mad? He's fucking mad, bro. Meltzer's mad as fuck. Triple H was not mad. He was like, why do we really care? Time to play the game. It's just time to play the game and enjoy ourselves. It's all about the game, and if you enjoy yourself, it's all about control, and if you can enjoy yourself. That's all Triple H is doing. He's kind of laughing about it. Dave's like, when you're mad, no, you're literally projecting again. You're mad that he wasn't mad, and he said, don't take it serious. And also, nobody cares. Nobody fucking watched him say this and goes, oh, I'm not going to buy tickets. This wasn't something he said on their TV show. This is something he said on a podcast.
They care, you know. It's like, oh, just consume what we give you, and it's like, you know,
that's not what he said. He didn't say consume what we give you. He just said try to have fun with the fun thing that we did.
They're gonna, you know. I mean, I know the arguments that they have. They're big thing, and it's a valid point. It's the Jey Uso, right? It's like all these people and social media rip on Jey Uso, right? And then you go in the building and it's just like these people go crazy for him. And it's like, it's like you know, if I'm going to listen to the people in the building,
and it's like you, if I'm going to listen to the people in the building, Dave, it's about both. And the people online disliking, like, we don't even know where the fuck that's all coming from. That could be like, you know, all the AEW fans love WWE. That could be like AEW fans too, just hating on Jay because it's the antithesis of what they like in wrestling. And I'm not saying just AEW fans, like there's not that many of them to fucking ratio a video that much, but we don't know like where that's all coming from. And Dave's like, if you just listen to the fans in the building, yeah, those people who spent the hundreds and thousands, those are the people just laying back and enjoying themselves. Triple H is talking to the marks who are likely fucking pirate shipping most of the shows, spend way too much time on Twitter, and are fucking disliking the Jey Uso videos. Those aren't the people in the building spending the money. So again, you're ass backwards. And you're trying to explain to him what he's done successfully that you voted him as a disgusting promotional tactic for doing a year ago. You're cooked in the fucking brain.
The only reason I know about this is because of I know about it, or I'm gonna. And again, the people in the building aren't 100% either, but they're still the ones that you're going to listen to more, or people trying to
exactly. So the ones paying top dollar and fucking having the most fun and not complaining and being like, I fucking love WWE. So that's who Triple H was talking to. The people already not taking it as serious and just enjoying their fucking time and yeeting and going nuts. Like, what?
Tell me that some guy who's over is not over. I'm listening to people in the building, okay? Every time.
They don't do that. That's what AEW does, Dave. Oh, okay, so we listen to the people in the building and Ospreay's not over and the zero reaction for Garcia and a bunch of these fucking goofs is what we should listen to. Okay, Dave, we'll do that. Because the people in the building are saying the people are fucking over. WWE is reluctantly like, fuck, we got to push LA Knight more. He's so goddamn over. We got to keep him in the you know? They have so many over people that they can't fucking push all of them. All of the people that all of the fans want and shit. They don't even have enough real estate television-wise to push all these fucking people that everybody wants to see be world champion. But you're sitting here trying to explain how they should do something better than what they're already doing that you're complaining about. It's fucking just mentally ill. And that's why I make fun of you, Dave. And I ain't going to keep telling you that we won't stop. That, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week.
Where's the guy that has papers everywhere in his room?
Thank you all for being here. Patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. Thank you for all the super chats and support. I will see you guys on the next one. Be good.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting intrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a US
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon.
this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win. just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.